What is up, everybody? Got quite a bit of news last night. So, for I think the first time in I don't even know how long, they actually buffed people that needed to be buffed. Like, can anyone else think of a time where, like, literally every single buff that they did was for a unit that actually needed a buff? So, they buffed Berserker Kentoki, they buffed Ibaraki, and they buffed Donzo. And all three of those needed a buff pretty badly. So, yeah, let's see. Kentoki got an upgraded NP, so his NP just hits harder, and that's really all he needed. But he also got Buster Resist down for 2 turns. So, it applies after his NP damage, but it's still good because it means your Buster cards after will do more damage, and maybe if you're doing waiver bullshit, you NP again and stuff. And it helps his teammates. I keep seeing people say that Kentoki's buff is bad because the Buster resistance doesn't apply before the NP damage, and sure, that would be better, but it's not like it's bad because it's after, right? It's like, and they just ignore all the benefits that are still there, like him making his teammates hit harder, him making his normal cards hit harder, that kind of stuff, so it's totally fine. Like, just him having an upgraded NP is nice, because Kentoki is one of those berserkers where he's kind of like Billy the Kid, he can just get his NP. You know, he doesn't have to do anything fancy, he just gets it, right? So, he doesn't need waiver and that kind of thing. So that's really good. So I think Kentoki's in pretty good shape now. Really good damage. Not the best berserker in the game, but he doesn't need to be, no big deal. See, Donzo got an NP upgrade as well, so her NP just hits harder. That's good. Although her NP was so weak before, you know, it's still not the best. And then she buffs the whole team with Buster up. So she's kind of got a bit more support going on, which kind of works because she's already got the targeted invulnerability and evade. So if she's working with Buster people, she'll help them out a bit. Her Buster up lasts for 3 turns too. That's also after NP damage, which people are complaining about, but it's like, I will say for her, I kind of would have liked it to apply first because, you know, her NP damage is so fucking pathetic. But again, it's still good. Her NP still does more damage than it did before, and now her teammates do more damage, and she does more follow-up damage and stuff. My god, Samsung Dex, stop bringing up menus everywhere. Anyway, she had decent, you know, she's still kind of on the weaker end of 4 stars, but definitely better. And then Ibiraki's is really weird. He made it so her disengage is now targetable. So she can use it on herself like always, but if she wants to, she can also use it on a teammate. So she can remove their debuffs and heal them, and then she gives herself or them 100% more crit damage for 1 turn. So that's like the base, that's what it does for the most part now. Which, that's, you know, that's pretty good. That's a huge amount of crit up, and it's flexible in that you don't have to give it to her if things don't work out that way. But then if you have Shootin' on the field and you use it on Shootin', Shootin' will get an attack buff, and then whoever, doesn't matter who used the skill on, if Shootin' is out, Ibaraki will get an NP battery. Which, that's like, oh wow, that's a good skill now, but the thing is, almost never are you going to want to use them together because their classes don't sync up very well. The only time I could see you really using them on the same team is if you're fighting an assassin. Berserkers are kind of good against assassins anyway, and then you might use caster Shootin', right? And then that's kind of a thing, but one's Buster, one's Art, so even then it's kind of meh. Well, I will say, with Donzo, it's like you do have to remember her main shtick, what she's supposed to do, is the large amount of targeted survivability, right? And then like Stargent and stuff. That's what she's supposed to do. And she's always been good at that. The problem is that's all she had, and then her other stuff wasn't quite good enough to, you know, really justify it. So this buff is still pretty nice. Like, she doesn't need to be an amazing damage dealer. Donzo's not supposed to be a damage dealer. She's supposed to be a support with some damage on the side. And before, like, she had the support, but then her damage on the side was just so bad, it wasn't really even relevant. You know, and it's still kinda but it's definitely more relevant now. And then as a bonus, she also gives the team even more support. What I would have actually rather seen, instead of them doing the Buster up before damage, I wish it had just been an attack buff for everybody. That way it would work for Quick, like if she's with Fuma or something, right? It works with Quick, Art, whatever, where the Buster up is kind of limited to Buster teams, and you may not necessarily be wanting her to use her on that. Because if you're using her for the support stuff, the survivability stuff, you don't even care what her NP type is, because, you know, obviously her NP is Buster, but... Oh, you're right, Cast Shootin' is Buster, her NP is Buster. So yeah, that's a little bit better synergy. So yeah, that's about the only synergy I can think of for Ibaraki, though. You know, the banana is working with Cast or Shoot. Even then, though, there's probably better team comps, but it's nice because if you like them and you want to use them together anyway, you get this nice benefit. So really, I would prefer they do stuff like that more, right? Like, I wish they would have more niche buffs like that. The thing is, Fury, one skill being DPS is not that big of a deal because most of her kit is the other two skills, and those are such extreme skills, right? It's kind of like on Ku, his protection from arrows has a lot more weight than his other skills, right? And that goes for a lot of servers. Like Calamity Jane's third skill has a lot more weight than her other skills. And for Danzo, the overwhelmingly noticeable thing about her, and blatantly what they wanted her to do, is she has two targeted survivability skills, and then also lots of star gen, and that's utility in support as well. And like even her NP makes a decent amount of stars. Like I think it's obvious she's aimed at being more, you know, star gen, survivability, you know, utility stuff, because that's almost what all she does. Because if they wanted her to be a damage dealer, I don't think they would have like set her up this way. I don't think they would have made her AoE buster and all that kind of thing. Like I think she's easily aimed more at the support stuff, especially because she's supposed to be similar to Fuma. Yeah, but again, Fury, two of those things have so much more weight than the other, and it's also something literally no other unit in the entire game has, right? So that carries a lot more weight, I think, especially because her NP is so bad. Her NP isn't carrying that much weight, and her first skill's not carrying that much weight. And her first skill also has synergy with the star gen because it has, you know, quick up, and that has to do with star gen. Like she's overwhelmingly about the star gen and the survivability. I mean, there's no way around. I mean, no one's gonna look at Danzo and be like, oh yeah, this unit was designed to be a pure DPS. Like she's clearly designed to have lots of survivability for the team. Like. And it is good, legitimately, it's nice. Sometimes you're trying to babysit that one unit, like a Berserker or something, and you need to make, and the boss is like God Juna, you know, who fucking one-shots you by spitting on you. And so having a unit like that guarantee that much survivability is nice. And if you make some stars while they're at it, great. And that's actually one nice thing about her is because even though she is AoE, it's pretty easy to use her in situations that's not AoE because you're probably using her for the survivability anyway. And like I said, I don't think it would have been bad. Like I think, you know, for Kentoki, I really don't think Kentoki really needed the Buster Resist down first, right? I don't think he really needed that. But I would not have. If Danzo had gotten the Buster up first, I wouldn't be like, oh wow, that's broken. Like no, it'd have been okay. But I'm not really caring because, you know, she's still got the upgraded damage anyway. So it's not like her damage didn't change. It did. And then, you know, it's not like she was ever aimed to be like some big AoE bomb anyway. I mean, hell, even if she had gotten the Buster up first, she still wouldn't be like the world's best AoE bomb by any means. But like I said, I think if they were going to do it after damage, I would have made it attack up. That way she just has more universal support instead of all. Because, like, for God's sakes, you know, if you want to use her with Fuma, Fuma's quick for. So it's like, whoop-de-doo, we got Buster up, right? So that's kind of lame. That's not really true. I'd say her second and third skills carry loads of weight. I mean, it's guaranteed survival. You know, even if you don't have taunt, you're still keeping a unit alive. And hell, she can keep herself alive and someone else alive if she wants to. That's really good. I mean, skills like that are extremely useful. It's a huge part of why Fuma is so good, is because, you know, if Fuma wants to keep himself alive, he can just cast evade on himself like anyone else. You know, like Robin or Billy having their own evade. But if you're like, oh, Fuma's already done what he needs to do, but shit, I need to keep my Berserker alive or whatever, then you can slap it on them. And then, obviously, Fuma's, you know, better because he's got massive amounts of utility, but Fuma's an abnormally good 3-star. Alright, let's see if we got anybody with Danzo here. So, she's gonna have a really hard time still, regardless of this buff, if we fight at neutral, because these stages are just really fucking hard at neutral. You know what's sad? I think the easiest stage here to do at neutral, and it's like a nice in-between, is this one right here. Because this one, it's not as easy as counterclassing, right? If you're counterclassing, things are so much easier, you know, in these fights, not a big deal. But then for a lot of people, these are just too hard at neutral. This stage is a nice in-between because it's a caster, and casters only attack twice. So it's still not as easy as counterclassing, but it's kind of an in-between. But we can't use this stage because it's a fucking caster and Danzo's an assassin, and that, you know, that ain't gonna fucking fly. Well, now I'd say Danzo does have things to complement his her other skills because she has 2 survivability things instead of just 1, and now her damage is slightly better. Like I said, I don't think Danzo's some god tier 4-star now, not at all, and it would have been okay if they buffed her more, but it's still a pretty nice buff, and you know, damage was like, if anything, I would have preferred they just doubled down on the support stuff and made that even better. Which one's this? I think this one's Attila, I think. God, there's no fucking... I remember this one. Her normal card damage is so fucking high, we're gonna just die immediately. Alright, do we even have a Danzo on our friends list? Actually, might not. Thankfully, she didn't exist when CCC came out, Rex, so I don't have to worry about that. Can you imagine her skills with no cooldowns? That would be pretty annoying. This is the wrong slot. But yeah, so Ibiraki is the one I'm the most on the fence on, because in most situations, all she really gained was a big crit up, but it is targetable, so it's flexible, and that's certainly good. And it's a huge crit up, but it's almost better on someone else than her, because she doesn't have Star Absorb or anything like that, so you need to make it like 40 stars at least. Beastly has one here, I'll message him. That's right, of course, he was showing that last night. Alright, send him a message, but he's streaming right now, so it might take him a minute. Well, in the meantime... Oh, here's Genical. If we get Genical, he hasn't logged on in a while, but if we get that, that'll work. I was just scanning to see if somebody on there happened to have Danzo, you never know. That Jin K though. Also with the Jin K CE, that's funny. There we go. Alright, let's see what, there's no way we're beating this, right? Like honestly, most AoE assassins would not beat this anyway, like by no means, but we'll see how far she gets. I'll be glad if she can like break the first health bar. Let's see, what do we want to do here? If she was counterclassing, I would say Atlas, easy, because you just get so much survivability that way. But because we're not counterclassing, and if this is Attila, I think she hits really hard. I don't think we're going to survive long enough to go around the wheel, so maybe just default. That's a real shame, because and I've seen this before when I've used Danzo, because we tested Danzo against like Gray and some of the other AoE assassins, and Danzo actually kept up better than we thought, just because she was able to go around the loop and live for so many goddamn turns. But that's not going to happen here, like no way. Okay, so the other bit of news, which I don't know how it took me this long to get to this, is they announced the next main story, which is Lost Belt 5.5, which on the one hand, I'm very happy to have more main story because gameplay is nice and main story is normally the best gameplay that we get. I'm not really happy that it's still Lost Belt 5 something, right? I'm sick of, like, bro, fucking 80 years ago when they first announced 2.0, which funnily enough they did at the same time as the announced Epic of Remnant, I remember. So if 80 years ago, and then they released like those hint words, right? So we knew about Lost Belt 6 from the beginning, right? And we had the Knights of the, like, Land of the Knights of the Round Table, right? And so that was, as always, this whole time has been the one I've been looking forward to the most. And for years, I've been trying to like make sure I'm saving my SQ, and even if I use some, that I'll have enough time between, you know, whenever I rolled and whenever I think Lost Belt 6 is coming, that I could save up enough again, or have enough left over to, you know, have a lot ready for Lost Belt 6. So for years, I've been basically planning my rolling and my not rolling and everything around Lost Belt 6 this whole time, right? And here we are 80 years later, and we're still in Lost Belt 5, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, I can't believe they're like, okay, Lost Belt 5's here, boys. And I'm like, yeah, Greece, this is gonna be awesome. And like, oh, by the way, this is actually a 2-part story, and this is only half of it. It's like, oh. And they're like, oh, maybe they'll put out the second half sooner than normal. Nope, I had to wait the normal time for Lost Belt 5-2. I was like, okay, here we go. Now finally Lost Belt 5 is over. That was a really good story though, but you know, let's go Lost Belt 6. Like, nope, gotta wait a million years again. And oh, by the way, it's still not Lost Belt 6. It's now Lost Belt 5.5. So have fun with that. And then now we're probably gonna have to wait like another 8 months. Oh, it's 5 months instead of 8. You know, at least there's that. But yeah, we'll probably have to wait another 6, 7, 8 months, you know, before we actually get to Lost Belt 6. Like, Jesus! Like, can we beat the Second Coming, right? Can we at least do that, right? Like, I swear, if Fate Strange Fake finishes before we finish the Lost Belts, I'm out. Like, I can't, I don't even know what to say, right? Like, what the fuck? But anyway, so it's kind of obvious that 5.5 is going to be like limbo stuff because they kind of hinted at that at the end of Lost Belt 5.2. Can't believe I'm saying that. But yeah, so at the end of Lost Belt 5.2, they kind of hinted at maybe limbo was going to be next, and you know, I was kind of hoping it would be like a prologue to Lost Belt 6, or just kind of something running alongside Lost Belt 6, like, you know, there's multiple storylines going on at the same time, right? That'd be cool. But no, it's gonna be the full story, and it's probably gonna be limbo stuff, because they put out a thing that said there's gonna be huge spoilers for Shimosa, right, in the next main story. So, you know, it's probably gonna be limbo stuff. And then they have a bunch of bonus servants right now that give double FP, and they're all Japanese. All of them, right? So I'm pretty sure we're about to have Shimosa 2, The Reckoning, right? Well, I'm not particularly happy about that. Now, I am happy to have more main story, you know, good boss fights are good boss fights, you know, that's great. But, okay, I know I'm kind of biased because I'm not, like, the biggest, you know, fan of the weeb stuff, but I think even people that are fans of the weeb stuff can see where I'm coming from, that this is getting a little ridiculous, just how often they are shoving a million Japanese servants down our throats constantly, right? Like, Babylon was almost nothing but Japanese characters. It's fucking Babylon! Like, what? Like, that's so random. And then, like, you know, Shimosa was nothing but Japanese people, and that's fine. Shimosa makes sense, right? It's set in Japan, so I'm cool with it being all Japanese stuff. But it's not like the other cultures get that treatment, right? When we're in North America, it's not all North American characters. You know, when we're, like, they rarely do they actually do that kind of thing, right? And so I'm just kind of, the amount of events and main stories that it's just like Japanese spam, I'm just like, really? And, you know, I get it, it's a Japanese developer, but, you know, Fate has never really been like that. They've never just been spamming something like that. And FGO has been doing, like we just had Gura Gura, right? We just had Gura Gura, right? We have like a million events that are super, you know, Japanese spam. Like, we have so many events that are super Japanese spam. And now we have more main story, like, there's been more Japanese, you know, focused main stories than any other culture or history or legend or anything like that. So I'm just like, do we really need another one? Like, oh, another one, right? Like, holy shit. You know, but that being said, you know, if the gameplay is good, that's great, but it is getting a little ridiculous in my opinion, because it's not like, I don't think this is even going to be the last one, right? We're gonna get a million other ones. Well, the thing is, I really, you know, it's not just about what people want, because one, people want all kinds of fucking things. It's not like, you know, the community at large is going to agree on any one thing. But another thing is, it's like, I want them to stay true to the series and stay true to what, like, what it's supposed to be, and like what the plot is supposed to be, and not just be pandering because things are popular, right? That's dumb. Yeah, they're never going to do Korean stuff. That's always drama, so. But hey, you know, they're gonna add Limbo at some point. There'll probably be a few servants that aren't Japanese, but literally every servant right now. Okay, Atlas actually would have been... Okay, we're gonna have to bring Atlas, actually, because the Buster Down applying for the whole fight is gonna be a bigger damage drop than having the attack up. So the only way you wouldn't want to bring Atlas here is if you had the command code to remove debuffs, but we don't, so... I'm gonna have to go Atlas. That's really unfortunate, though. I think we're about to just destroy our own value, because if you aren't able to cast your skills a second time, Atlas is like the worst mystic code ever, right? Because, like, you know, its main selling point is the cooldown reduction, and if you don't live long enough to get value out of it, it's not a very good mystic code. But Sprite and cards don't match on Donzo. There are some characters you can get away with that, and sometimes I think it actually really works. Like, I have, you know, Mordred in stage 1, but her cards in stage 2. But, yeah, Donzo's kind of a weird one for that. Add opening hand, but what are you gonna do? So I'll be glad if we can break the first health bar. That's pretty much the goal here. I'm not sure we're going to though. I'm pretty sure Attila just hits like a truck. By George. I'm sure we'll fight actual Limbo, although we'll probably fight his ghost again, maybe, at least once, but I'm sure we'll fight the real deal this time. I don't think Limbo is surviving the singularity, I'm just saying. Okay, let's see. We're really incentivized to do the Buster Chain now. It's unfortunate though because we got better crits on the quick ones. And we could make so many stars, but I guess we do this. I mean, they literally call it 5.5. Like on the menu and everything, it just says 5.5, so... Is there any command code that can remove debuff from allies? Not as of yet, but they might do that at some point. That'd be so powerful though, I don't know if they would do that. Like, they might do it for a niche debuff, where it's just like, you know, removes all X type of debuff from allies, like crit down or burn or whatever. If it's a specific debuff, I think they might do it, but a general remove any debuff like we've got right now, like we got the one command code that removes any debuff, but only for yourself. If they had one like that for the whole team, that would be pretty crazy. Like, that's pretty strong. Actually, removing mental debuffs from your teammates wouldn't be so bad, because if your teammate gets charmed, you could free them. Although I guess that would be after your turn is over, because it's when you attack, so actually that would be shit. Unless it was a multi-turn charm. Which they've had a few bosses that do shit like that, but that's crazy rare. I think they've done that like, you know, once, ever, maybe? So yeah, that wouldn't be great. Wait, shouldn't I be doing more Buster stuff because I've got double Buster up? I feel like I did that wrong. Okay, she's gonna fucking one-shot us. Okay, good, they were off, thank God. I was gonna say, can we like just not get one-shot here? That would be great. I guess the other option is I could have tried to have looped my NP. Because she actually can loop decently well if you try it. Like, I could have done Arc quick and then NP'd again and had Buster up again. You're getting pretty awesome normal card damage, though. Now, in team play, you're not going to necessarily get her Buster cards that much to benefit from her Buster up, but her teammates get it too. But that's why I thought it'd be better in that matchup, because you know, you may not be using her on a Buster team. You might, but you might not, so... Oh yeah, obviously, but I mean, I've been using a lot of level 100 2k food units in these stages, and it's, you know, pretty ugly. God, I wish we had the debuff clear, because we could get rid of this defense down. Probably gonna break, well, I might be able to break in 2 turns without NP, but then we just waste the NP. I guess I'll cast it. I mean, honestly, in solo, I actually think Gonzo's kind of okay. I don't think she's amazing, she's no coup or anything, but having tested her a decent amount, you know, before the buff, she just lives so long that she's able to get, she's able to make up for a lot of her minute damage, kind of like how Ku does. So it's not that bad, but in team play, you know, that's not always going to work out. Well, at least we went around the wheel, we didn't get one shot, so that's something. Maybe I should have done double Buster here. If we don't break here, we're pretty fucked. And we didn't crit, that's crit. Can we get a crit? We didn't get a... What are the statistics on that? I needed literally any card to crit. It could have been the second quick, the third quick, the first Buster. What the fuck? Okay, that's pretty shit. Let's try that again. Well, she can definitely break the first health bar, though. So I feel like if I had min-maxed better throughout that, and like picked my cards better, I probably could have gotten that 5k damage even if I didn't crit there. There was probably a way to have broken at that point, I feel. Now you want to see sad. You bring Jekyll and Hyde here, you know, level 100 or no, and it's not a good time. I'm not even. Could he beat George? I'm not even. Seriously, I'm not sure he could beat George because, you know, George is a writer, so that's his best case. And generally, if you're fighting your counter class, you know, these aren't too bad. But I'm serious. I think Jekyll and Hyde might lose to George. He might have that because George doesn't hit too hard. It'd be tough. I think he has a shot, but I don't think I'm not actually confident, which is sad because I can't really think of another assassin that I would be like, oh yeah, they're not going to beat George. These stages are weird like that, though. If you're counterclassing and you're properly upgraded and stuff, you're pretty much guaranteed to win. But then if you're not counterclassing, it's super hard, right? So the middle ground is not there. I accidentally killed the music there. Okay, well, slightly better hand than last time, but not by much. I almost want to do Art Buster quick to just in case our next hand is absolute garbage. I want to make sure I get my NP. I may really regret this. I might really regret this because I want to remind everyone that I just failed to break the health bar by 5k, so these little things can matter. But not getting my NP would be pretty disgusting, so. Okay, I could have done the damage last turn. You know what? I want stars. That's about the cards I would have picked anyway, so. Kualter absolutely does not need a buff. I've seen multiple people saying that since Kentoki got buffed. Like, oh, when's Kualter gonna get one? Like, what the fuck? Kentoki has been like one of the most low-tier 5-star berserkers ever for so long, and to this day, Kualter's one of the absolute best. Like, I don't even get it, man. You know how common it is that there's some bullshit main story fight or challenge quest that comes out and Kualter still just shits all over it, and he makes something that most players have to work really hard and put their thinking caps on and maybe get luck and like all this not, and then Kualter just comes along and just I see red and he wins. Like, he can solo a fuckload of like the Gilfest 2 challenge quests. Like, are you kidding me? How do you have a unit running around soloing Gilfest 2 challenge quests and people are like, yeah, this unit needs to be buffed? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, Kualter is so far away from needing a buff, it's not even funny. And I know they buffed Hercules, but honestly, between Kualter and Hercules, I would say Kualter is better, right? Not always. There are a few circumstances where you need like just pure survivability in like the short term because the enemy's hitting for like 30,000 every attack, and so Kualter could just die in one turn because you only got the 2-hit evade and stuff, right? So there are times that Herc is better, but overall Kualter is better than Herc. And yeah, they really don't need a buff. That being said, he's probably going to get one anyway because this game. But what I want to see Kualter get is an animation update, right? Like that's something that is sensible, right? But a buff, just no, that's silly. That's another reason Kualter is so good, is he's so free to use different CEs. That's a huge part of why he's better than Hercules, is because Hercules, now for real, Hercules' Bond CE is so good, normally you're not going, oh no, I have to bring a CE that gives me 3 stacks of guts, right? If other units could use Herc's Bond CE, they would use it very often, right? Like, very often. But there are times that you wouldn't. There are just times where you don't need that, or guts is bad, or you need an event CE because it gives a damage bonus and the enemies are scaled with that in mind, right? There's all kinds of reasons why you might not want to use it, and then Herc is almost, you know, trapped by it. Although that being said, Herc is surprisingly good without it still, but yeah, that's a big thing that's good for Kualter, is he's just so free to use things like, he can use the Canis CE, he can use Origin Bullet, he can use a Gut CE still if he wants to, he can use, you know, the Yang CE, he can use an Event CE for the damage bonus. Like, the options are huge, right? Yeah, imagine Ku with her Swansea. Actually, it wouldn't be that good. It really wouldn't. It'd be alright, but it really would not be that good because it takes so many turns for you to get to the point where it would start proccing anyway, that's a lot of turns you could have been getting like a lot more damage from another CE. And it means you're not going to be able to cast your guts ahead of time and have like the cooldown, you know, get reduced and have it. Okay, thank you, Canis CE, for the Jesus, that's the 50th gifted sub. My God. But no, really, Canis memes aside, that really, it does work really well in Coulter, by the way. I'm just saying. Anyway, what the hell was what was I just talking about? I just got, oh yeah, Ku, right? So like, because Ku couldn't cast his guts ahead of time, it would just no effect, right? That you get a lot of diminishing returns out of Herc's Bond CE on Ku, and then again, it's going to take so many turns to get down to that point that it wouldn't be that great. I don't even think it would be meta for him. It'd be meta for him every once in a while, but I'd say more times than not it wouldn't be, honestly. Yeah, Coulter's pretty amazing, and he's good in team play, he's good in solo, he's good in last man standing. I don't know why people always forget about last man standing. That's a really legit and, you know, easy way to make like solo units work in team play, and having one, you know, having a really strong team and then a unit like Ku, Herc, Coulter in the back is amazing, right? Or in Kidu even. Coulter works really well because unlike Herc, who's got the Bond CE, and the Bond CE is not as good when he has teammates, you know, Coulter doesn't worry so much about that because of protection from arrows, that it can get him to the point where his teammates die, and then he has guts and stuff like that, so. Yeah, Coulter, seriously, again, I really don't like Coulter, seriously, I you know, just like with Nero, you know, I don't like Nero at all. I don't really like Coulter either. So I'm not like saying he's great just because I like him. It's like quite the opposite. I really don't like him, but it's just, he's really good and it's obvious. Actually, I think Tam Lancer is way better than people think. Now, I don't think she's no Enkidu. Of course not. But she gets pretty decent like damage, and she's just kind of a you know, well-rounded value. And honestly, the battery thing is pretty good. There's a lot of situations you can capitalize on that. Now, it can be bad too, but like for example, let's say you have Merlin out and Merlin's gonna die soon, but the enemy's not gonna NP for like another turn. You're like, well, Merlin's probably gonna die then before he could actually get his invulnerability off to sync up with the NP. You can use it, right, and then just make them NP now, and then use the cooldown now, then you have to worry about it. And that's actually useful more times than you might think. You also can force the enemy not to quick charge, right? Like, oh, I don't want to do that 50-50 where maybe they quick charge and NP this turn, or maybe they don't NP and they quick charge next turn. You can just make them NP this turn, and you don't have to do the guessing bullshit anymore, right? So that's pretty nice, and their damage is alright, right? There are times Merlin dies, absolutely, especially if you're on like a front-loaded team. Like a lot of times you're not doing that longevity thing, right? Maybe Merlin's the only support really, and you're throwing out big damage quickly, and you don't have someone else on the team like Mash or Tam or Waver or whatever. It's actually really easy for Merlin to die in those situations. Now obviously if you want Merlin to live forever, that's not too hard to do either. But I'd say the worst 5-star Lancer is definitely probably Lancer or Tori. I mean, she has uses too. Her 50% battery, you know, 50% batteries are awesome and everything. But overall, she just doesn't have enough damage and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Tam's got a lot of good things going for her. Like, she's got Charm, and I'm pretty sure it's 100% right. I think it works on males and females, so that's really good. She has a decent amount of damage up. Her Deterrent is actually a good thing sometimes. She has survivability, you know, crit stuff. She has a lot of damage up, honestly. The main issue is the stun, but you can give her a command code to stop that, so that helps a lot. And because the command code lasts multiple turns, it'd be actually really rare that you wouldn't have the command code up, even in team play. Her only issue is she doesn't have an upgraded NP. I literally, I think that's her only issue. Like, she has solid survivability, she has solid utility, it's actually a unique utility. She has quite a bit of damage up for the team, because she has the defense down too. She also has Charm, which works with her invulnerability to kind of have 2 survivability skills. Also, the Charm is survivability for your teammates. That's great. Like, she's pretty good, you know, and her passes are fine. And if you're fighting males, her damage is fucking amazing. Now, if you're not fighting males, then it's kind of right? So I think Tam Lancer is one of those units that people just won't shut up about her being bad, but she's totally fine. Like, literally, there's so many good things in this kit. That's a lot of damage up for the team, and normally DPS like her, they're selfish, right? They don't give damage up to the teammates, right? So it's a bonus that she gives damage to herself and her teammates. She does massive damage against males. You know, the charm is just really nice in general. That's a, you know, really nice skill. It works on males and females, unless I'm mistaken. You know, the MP charge on the enemies can actually be very helpful. And then, you know, she got crit up, invulnerability, heal rate, debuff resistance, all that nonsense. So she can loop pretty easily. The biggest drawback is the stun, but oh look, we have a command code to counter that now. And it's like, again, if the command code only lasted 1 turn, wouldn't be too reliable. But because it lasts 2 turns, it's very reliable. So, I mean, really, she's in pretty damn good shape. It's just, there are some other Lancers that are just so disgusting, you know, in comparison, she may not be shining as much, right? But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, these crits are kind of pissing me off here. So I want normal card damage. That's what matters here. Well, Summer Servants, you know, I don't think they care about as much, honestly. And Enkidu, and I think we can all agree, Enkidu kind of should be broken into a degree. If someone's going to be a top tier Lancer, it should be Enkidu. Because even if you don't like him, it's like, he's literally one of the strongest servants ever. So it's kind of like fair enough. As long as other servants are like performing well enough to do the job and keep up, I don't really see an issue. And I would say Tam is in that boat where she does her job just fine. Yeah, Brunhilde's up there too. The best Lancers I would definitely say are Brunhilde and Enkidu. I do think Enkidu is better because they're both, like in team play, they're pretty comparable, and sometimes I would say Brunhilde is better, but it not by enough for it to be that big of a deal. So they're about tied in team play. And in team play, sometimes you really want what Enkidu has. You still might really want his super survivability and the crit down and the stun and blah blah blah. You know, there's plenty of reasons why Enkidu might still be better in team play. But sometimes Brunhilde is going to be better in team play, but close. But then for Last Man Standing in solo, Enkidu is so much better than her that his overall usefulness to a player, I think, is just much higher. Because Enkidu is one of those people that he doesn't just... That's true, Brunhilde does have a crit down too. That's right. But you know, she doesn't have the, you know, LOL, I reset my health bar and, you know, all that nonsense. Anyway, but Enkidu is one of those units where he doesn't just solo for funsies like we're doing right now. You know, we could beat this in a team so easily. Who cares if you can solo this stage, right? But Enkidu can solo things that would legitimately give you a really hard time, right? Because he's just really broken, and he's one of those units that he's like the only unit that can solo certain things, right? Where there's something really hard, and just no other unit in the game can solo it other than him. Like that happens sometimes. So he is really good, right? Because he's very comparable to Brunhilde in team, and I don't think anyone would argue that he completely blows her out of the water in both Last Man Standing and solo, right? So overall, I think he's definitely better. Everyone can destroy the Rice Man challenge quest though, so that's not that big of a deal. But he fucking can like solo fucking Aphrodite, and I think he can solo Demeter, which is like, what? You know, and he's just so many, I can't even count anymore. He can solo the Yang challenge quest. Like, what? Like, and it's not even hard, right? Like, he just shits on it. Like, there's so many fucking challenge quests. There's like, lol, they have divinity, right? It's silly. Another Lancer, though, that's really up there, I would say, is Scath. I think Scath is really slept on, right? I'm not sure she's no Enkidu, she really isn't, but she's pretty damn good, right? Especially with Scatty and stuff, you can get her NP, you know, a couple of, like, yeah, eventually the bad NP gain is going to catch up with you, right? But you can still front load it pretty well and get, you know, several NPs off pretty rapidly, get really big damage out of them, and you stun every time, because she has like a 500% chance to stun. So, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, Ereshkigal's pretty known for being good. I would say Ereshkigal's pretty known for being good, but there's a small group of people for some fucking reason that think she's bad. But overall, I think it's pretty accepted that she's good. So I could probably break here if I got 2 crits, but I'm not even, I'm just fuck, I'm going to MP. I may really regret this though, but... Okay, Benkei's bad, but you know, what are you gonna do? Oh yeah, obviously Ku's really broken, but he's not a 5-star, so we're not even talking about that. Although I'm telling you, legit, it is pretty wild how comparable Ku is to, you know, these things that are way higher rarity than him. Even if they're Grail 2 and stuff, it's pretty silly. But yeah, he's not normal. But yeah, let's see. What? Oh my, there it is. There it is. We just lost so much value because I think I was getting all my skills back. That's what I was talking about. Like, Atlas did nothing there. That is so fucked. That's exactly what I was worried about. That's so lame because we would have lived for 2 more turns at least, I think, if we didn't die there. So we could, you know, she could have gotten a good chunk into the next health bar if that hadn't happened. God damn it. That happens a lot with her, though. Romulus, for some reason, some people think Romulus is this god tier OP fucking Lancer, which he's not. Although then there's also the opposite where a lot of people are like, oh my god, he's so bad. He's not bad. He's fine. He is a good AoE Lancer. And that's what he is. And in certain niches, he can be real good. I will say, he does ramp like a motherfucker, right? If you have the time and the ability to ramp, he does start getting insane damage. But a lot of times, by the time you get to that point, you would have already won anyway. Or you don't need that much damage because of break bars. So I haven't seen a lot of instances where Romulus is really, you know, doing anything too spectacular. He's good. If you need an AoE Lancer, he does just fine. He has solid survivability, solid damage, decent normal card damage, you know, gets the battery skill and all that. So he's totally fine. Totally good, well-rounded AoE Lancer. But he's also not like, he's not the Enkidu of AoE, right? Not by any means. But yeah, I see both extremes. Some people act like they think he's like one of these, you know, broken ass OP units, but he's just not at all. But on the flip side, you see people acting like he's like, oh, he's so shit. He's not shit at all. Like he's just good. He's just good. Yeah, Ivan's amazing. Ivan is, especially since they buffed. He was already good, then he decided to buff him for some fucking reason. Yeah, people see big numbers, think OP, then they remember, oh yeah, break bars exist. So it's like, oh yeah. Also, there's just so many people that can do big numbers, right? It's not that big of a deal. Okay, let's try one more time. This really is a terrible stage for this, though, because it's just so likely that she's going to get one shot. That it's so bad for her toolkit. Like, we should switch stages, because, like, really, if we want to do this, we should try to find some other assassins that are as upgraded as this. Like Gray and, you know, other AoE assassins that are also level 100 and all that kind of thing. But they're all going to do so, it's almost random, right? Like, because it's like who gets one shot and who doesn't. That's going to be more of the, that's going to dictate who gets how far and not, you know, how good they actually are. So we should not use this stage. It's not great. Well, Observer, there are other Ivan raid ups that NA should get. So if you're a big Ivan fan, just save up, man. I know it hurts, but there will be other times, thankfully. God, Ozzy with an NP buff is going to be so fucked up. They actually might buff him at some point, though. I could absolutely see that. He's like Coulter, man. He's one of those old units that is just, to this day, you know, top in class for what his role is, right? It's crazy. Like, he's still Rexcaster bosses, no problem. Yeah, that's true. They could buff him because of Camelot movies. I kind of forgot about that. Dude, a lot of people think Achilles is bad. That one truly blows my mind. That one really blows my mind. Like, a lot of people are like, yeah, Achilles, whatever. I literally don't understand why. I'm truly confused. Because it's like, first off, if you want to, he works with Scatty, right? You want to do this typical Scatty poor shit. He works just fine because he gets so much. He gives himself a quick up for multiple turns, and he gets another quick up every time he NPs. So he has no problem doing the double Scatty nonsense, right? And then yes, he doesn't have an upgraded NP, but he does have enough damage up to compensate for that. And yes, sure, it would be better if he had an upgraded NP, and then all that damage up would go into the positive instead of making up for him not having an upgraded NP. But he still hits really hard. He's got a good attack stat. Ryder's got a nice damage mod. You know, double quick up all the time, pretty much. So it's like, damn, dude. And then also, he has a battery skill. So if you, for some reason, fall short on things, oh yeah, I need to change my Samsung Dex because the way I have it set up right now, if I want to adjust my volume, so you see it on screen right now. See, that's not great. Anyway, But yeah, he's got a battery skill to just make sure he either gets his NP right off the bat, or to help with a loop, or loop on his own without Scatty, right? And you can even use the taunt against like a single target NP that uses the vulnerability, so you know where it's going. That's fucking amazing. And then LOL, he has an invulnerability skill, and it's on a really short cooldown for some godforsaken reason. Like, he's amazing. He's one of those. These are rare. I tell you, these really are rare. He is one of those AoE units that's so good you can use him in single target situations. And sure, he may not be as good as the best single target options, but he's better than the worst by far, right? So that having one unit that is like so good in AoE situations and still really good in single target situations, and then is also survivable, that is just the versatility there is so good that I don't see how anyone can think he's bad. And I see a lot of people that are like, yeah, he's kind of whatever, right? Like I've seen that a lot. Now, of course, almost anytime someone says that, you see a lot of people being like, are you smoking something? Because it's like, he's really good. But yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of people be like, yeah, he's kind of whatever. I really don't get it though. Yeah, that's a big part of why Ozzy is so good, is because he hits really hard. He has really good normal card damage. I would have to stress that he has really good normal card damage, and then he I'm gonna hope that 40% lands. So I'm doing the command codes that way. But yeah, then he also gives the team some nice support, and he gives them the MP battery, and that's really nice because battery is awesome. So like, he's awesome, great. And then MP seal's good. That being said, if you do buff Achilles' NP, that is just going to be so insane. He's going to be like the Gilgamesh of Riders in a lot of ways. Like, he's going to work really well in single target situations at that point. Also, not only is Ozzy really good, but because of that command code that they added, he's even better. Because sometimes you'd have those weird situations where you wouldn't want to use his buff success chance up on the turn that you want to use Imperial Privilege. Now, sometimes it works out just fine and that's not an issue, but there absolutely were times where you'd be like, oh man, I really don't want to use the battery skill right now because I already have my NP or something, right? So, and that's tied to the buff success chance, right? Like, that definitely would happen from time to time. But because of the command code, the few times that happens, there's a pretty decent chance that you got the command code up anyway, and you don't need to really do that, right? So it's pretty nice. Like, Ozzy's really tanky. He does crazy normal card damage. He gives the team a lot of benefits. He also can make other units have their buff success chance too. It's not just for himself, right? Like, it's pretty awesome. Okay, that's stupid. Like, that literally everything you just said about Enkidu is dumb, right? Because first off, Enkidu he's so good at those rolls. He is like do you realize how much damage? Oh, that's Game Press's tier list. That explains a lot. No wonder it's stupid. I was about to say, that's one of the dumbest. I got it, Rex. Thank you. That's one of the dumbest things ever. He's got some of the best fucking NP damage you're gonna get. He can loop really easily. He's got some of the best, like, his utility is so good. Like, I swear, do people not realize that he does the defense down first? Like, do people not realize that? And the defense down lasts multiple turns? Like, how is this even fair, right? Like, he is such a stupid, I love Enkidu, but he is so, like, dumb in the way they balanced him, right? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, Musashi can do more damage than him, but I'm pretty sure Enkidu actually has more consistent damage because he gets it on his NP every time, and then his second NP is actually stronger. Her second NP is not stronger than the first one, right? Now, he won't have his first skill, so in a way, his second one isn't as strong. But he ramps where she doesn't really ramp, although she does get her damage up every fucking time. But it's like, Enkidu, what I'm getting at is Enkidu will have double defense down on his second NP, right? Musashi doesn't get double NP up, and hers doesn't work that way, right? It only lasts one turn. And then the damage difference between them is not large enough for it to even really be relevant. They're both doing so much damage, it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you broke the health bar, champ. Right? Like, both of them are just like, let me just drop the bomb here and do way more damage than this health bar actually has, so it's not that big of a deal. And then Enkidu's got, you know, the niche against divinity, which is insane, and then threat to humanity, which is even more insane, and that kind of stuff. But Musashi's so good, too. I mean, good God, Musashi is a fucking disgusting unit. Also, I'm not actually sure Musashi and Enkidu beat Caesar. Because every time I see people, and I haven't really checked, but every time I see people compare it, they're comparing to a 70 Caesar, right? And so if everyone is Grailed to 100, Caesar pulls ahead more than they do. They don't change much, and Kido and Musashi only gain a little bit from being 100, where Caesar gains a fuckload. And so with how silly Caesar's, he's quick, single target, upgraded, and then a million attack buffs. I think Musashi might still win just because her stats are still going to be higher, and her buff was dumb because they made her NP buff bigger, right? Her NP up on her NP is bigger, and the NP does more damage, so I don't think Caesar would beat that, but Caesar is definitely going to be comparable because, Caesar things. Alright, let's, if we just don't die next turn, we might actually, get somewhere here. Okay, that might have been a mistake. Wait, I played that turn there. Hey, Persona. Well, I mean, a lot of times... Oh, come on. Fuck, man! God damn it! If I got my NP there, we would have broke here. That was kind of my fault, though. I could have made sure I got it. Maybe we'll get that 20% crit here, and then the 90% crit. No, even then I'm not sure we would have broken, but we might have. I don't think so, though. No. Damn it, dude. That's so fucking shit. See, now we didn't die on this turn, but look how behind we are. Last time we had broken on this turn, right? Where this one, although we didn't get one shot by her, we haven't actually broken yet, so this is not ideal. Caesar can actually guarantee all this buffs with command code too, and also, even if Caesar's not low on health, you normally get most. Oh my god! Okay, that's enough for this stage. I am had enough. Anyway, yeah, let's find a better stage, and then we'll test her against other AoE people. We're getting nothing done right now. But yeah, Caesar will, because it's 80%, you're probably going to land a good number of the buffs anyway, and then you can have the buff success chance. And although you might think it would only work on one stack, his buff success chance will actually work on all of them. So if he has it, he'll get every single one. Okay, what's a stage? We want a stage where we can test all the assassins somewhat equally. We need someone that doesn't hit too hard at neutral. Like, they're going to hit hard no matter what because they're at neutral, but we don't want them just, fucking deleting us. What about Siegfried if we're not a dragon? Do any of the assassins we want to test be a dragon? What's her competition, directly here? I mean, it's Fuma, Gray, what else? There's another one we've been testing a lot. What was it? Fuck, I remember last time we did this, we tested some other AoE assassins. Yeah, I guess you would be one. I mean, Cleo's a 5-star, that's just mean, and Cleo's also just disgusting. I mean, we could test Cleo if we want to, but, because Cleo's, the good AoE assassin, right? Yeah, I guess Okido works too. Okay, I'll try to remember these. I'm hoping this, yeah, I don't think any of those are dragons, so, wait, is Okido, no, Okido's not a dragon. Okay, there's our Gray. That's pretty on par with our Donzo here. I would say though it does actually favor Donzo a little bit because the way, most people aren't gonna have Donzo at NP5, where everyone's gonna have Gray at NP5. So if Donzo is NP5, it kind of is in her favor a little bit, I would say, in terms of fairness. Not necessarily how good they are. I actually do think Donzo's going to do better than Gray now. Now, I still say, though, there are definitely times in team play where Gray can be better because Gray is just, so set it and forget it. It's so easy to get, oh, hey, I need an AoE assassin, right? She can just show up, battery, blow up, and that's that, right? So if you're not needing, even more damage or even more survivability, a lot of times Gray really works. Hey, MFJ, what's up, man? I'm hoping things are going well for you. Thank you for the 31-month resub, Jesus, man. But actually, I think Donzo's gonna... She was pretty close to Gray before, and actually I think she might have even been doing better than Gray before. And then now that she's been buffed, I think she's probably gonna do pretty well in comparison to... Like, I'm serious, I think she's gonna do really well against her competition now. Because she was keeping up before. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna why didn't I remove the quick down? I don't even want stars or NP games. I swear, if I get to 98%, it's because I didn't remove the quick down. So MFJ, how's the job been going? Hoping you're getting used to things. Well, really bad start. I misplayed and we didn't get any particularly good cards here, but we at least got our NP. Yeah, the one thing Gray has is she's a free NP5, for sure. The other thing she has, though, is like, for real, in a challenge quest, there might be, let's say you're fighting 6 bosses, right? They do that a lot with challenge quests. You fight like 6 bosses, maybe they each have a break bar. Let's say the first wave is like a rider, a berserker, and then like the other one is like a saber, but that one's like the weakest one, right? An AoE assassin makes a degree of sense there. And then maybe like there's a gimmick where you break one of their health bars and they instantly NP, like Nobu was in Summer 3, right? So then having her invulnerability is good. And then if both Donzo and Gray or both have enough damage to break those health bars, you would rather have Gray because Gray's got the battery and all those things. Although you might have Waver, you don't need the battery anyway. But like generally, if they're both doing enough damage, Gray's going to be better for those kinds of things. But you might actually need the utility on Donzo and stuff. I actually do think Donzo's better than Gray now. It's hard to say. They're close. But it's going to take a lot of testing. I'm not going to know right now. I need to do team stuff and everything. But Donzo's already, like, she was, you know, I have her kind of low on my tier list, but like I even said in it that she's just so on the edge of like going up quite a bit. So the combination of having a little bit better damage with just the massive amount of survivability and Stargen and everything, I think she's going to do pretty well now. We'll see though. Jesus, thank you MFJ for the gifted sub. MFJ going ham on me here. Thanks, man. All right, let's do this proper. And they're tempting me with these quick cards, but is there a 4-star AoE assassin that's actually good? I mean, honestly, a lot of them are better than people think. You know, Gray's good enough. I mean, I think Yu's pretty good now. I gotta say, Yu's buff was nuts. I don't think people realize how, like, statistically, how much, like numerically, actually, like, it's how much she got, right? It's not just that every time she MPs, she's doing more damage now, but she's gonna keep her buffs longer now, so she gets even more out of them, and she loops. I legit think Yu's pretty good now. I don't think Yu is like, you know, she's not like Cleopatra, you know, she's not like, you know, one of these crazy, you know, she's not Achilles or anything, but I think she's quite a bit better. I've used her at 80 since her buff. She's still better than her competition. I think she's really solid now. Like, she's able to compensate for the damage issues well enough. Yeah, of course she's not like, oh my god, look at these damage numbers. But welcome to every assassin in the game. And then she's able to NP often enough and with enough survivability. And because she gets, it's not just her NP hitting harder now. It's that all of her buffs got better. When they buffed her, they made every single one of her skills better because they're all gonna last longer now, right? It's obvious. She just numerically, she is so much better than she was. I would say, fucking massive shift in numbers, right? Because we can, you know, Rex's is level 90, like NP4 or some crap. But we compared her to a lot of AoE assassins that were actually higher than that, and she did better than them, right? Like, she's doing pretty good. Like, yeah, again, she's not the, like, if you compare her to, like, Fionn, right? He's, you know, he's a 4-star and he's AoE like she is, but he's a different class. Fionn is definitely better, right? Because he also gets his NP multiple times, no problem, and he just does more damage, and he's got some just really easy, straightforward value, right? Like, so she's not on par like that, but she's doing pretty damn good. Wait, she's NP5? Okay, excuse me. I thought she was NP4. I legit thought that, but apparently not. Must be conflating the level 90 with the NP rank there. Crits are important. Let's go for the crits. I may really regret this. I probably should have done the... Yeah, I should have done the Gilgamesh card. That wasn't a high enough crit chance for it to really be worth it. I don't know, maybe I'm supposed to be doing double buster every turn now, I don't know. That's right. Dude, I'm gonna make sure I get that Yang CE next time it's rated up. And like I said, I'm not gonna like spam it in my videos, but like for solos and stuff, it's just, God, it's so good. I will say, has anyone else noticed this? It is a rough life being a 4-star in AoE. Like there's just it's like the stat line, the lower damage number on AoEs, and like if you're not, a lot of them don't have upgraded NPs and stuff. Like that's a rough, it's just a rough place to be. Is an AoE 4-star. There are some good ones for sure. Absolutely, there's some really good ones, but I feel like there's a lot of like ones. Yeah, Canis, yeah, that's the one, clearly. That's rough for a different reason, Fury. That's a whole different thing. Okay, please break here. Get like a crit. Yeah, Parvati is just, what the fuck were they thinking with that unit? Dude, she is so disgusting. That to this day, that is one of the, and she scales like a motherfucker too. Like, good God. Yeah, that's kind of the thing, Ari. 3 stars get to be MP5 for free, and then 5 stars exist, right? So it's really awkward for 4 stars. Did he just quick charge a bunch? What the hell? Why is he already in ping again? I'm really glad we have all these survivability skills now, because although, like, what the fuck? I mean, there's a lot of welfare that is super good. Like, I feel single target normally does a bit better for 4 stars, just because, if it's a single target situation, it's easier for them to get the bigger numbers and that kind of thing, so. But there's plenty of 4-star single targets that are in weird places too. Really, the more I think about it, the weirder 4 stars are, like, because a lot of people are still gonna have them at low MP ranks, like with 5 stars, but maybe not, right? So it gets weird. I don't think we'll live, unless he starts quick charge spamming again. Wait, what if he does start quick charge spamming again? Do I wait at least 1 turn? But the star gen though, fuck, I guess we use it. I don't know. That's a weird. It is possible that we might live until he gets his next NP. I tell you, if we had better command codes, I might wait, right? If I had like heal command codes and stuff, I could be at full health right now, right? And then potentially heal again before dying. So then there's a pretty good chance I could make it to his next NP. But because I don't have any kind of survivability like that, I'm thinking it's better to go this way. The issue with Saber Alter is the fact that she doesn't like repeat NP worth the fuck, right? Like she gets the 1 NP and that's kind of it generally. Her overcharge is not as good as the other ones. She doesn't have, like, that's kind of an issue with her. But a lot of times you don't really use her in situations where you'd want to repeat NP anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal because she still has a hard-hitting AoE NP, and then she has like buster crits and that kind of thing. So she's in pretty good shape, but she's definitely not the best AoE Saber by any means, like not even close. But she's totally serviceable. I don't anyone's like a big Saber Alter fan. I don't think like, oh my god, she just sucks so much, right? It's not like that at all. don't think it'd be too bad. We're certainly not gonna win, but I mean, dear God, I would not expect a AoE 4-star neutral to ever win this. Even though she is level 100 and all that nonsense, like I don't see many of them winning this. You did all right though. It's not too bad. Yep, that's a bigger complaint that I have, Aerie, is the fact that the way they buffed her was so boring. It's just like she's like another Artoria, Mordred, Arthur, you know, like, can we stop making AoE Buster? Like, why is it always the AoE Buster Berserkers, right? It's not like there's a quick one that's kind of like that, right? It's always the AoE Buster ones that they're like, yep, quick charge, stars, crit stuff, Buster things, right? All of them, all of them. It's like, can we please do something else? So yeah, I thought that was crazy boring the way they did that. Like, sure, Saber-Alter's like a nice, she's like a budget Artoria, right? And that's nice. But it's like, can we have something else, please? So yeah, it's pretty dull. Oh yeah, less MP charge, more stars. I actually didn't remember that, but makes sense. Okay, well, I got one more. We didn't really deserve this extra turn right here, but I'm glad we got it. Because most units will have died by that turn, right? Like, we only have 500 left. Honestly, maybe if you got... I will say, she actually might be able to beat this if you got lucky and you had better command codes. These aren't particularly good command... They're okay, and the Gilgamesh one especially is good. But our command codes are a little meh. So if we had this kind of luck again, and maybe even better luck, and then we had better command codes, you might be able to squeeze out that 75k. I'm thinking, no, you probably at best you're gonna get another like 50k out of her. It'd be tough to get 75k out of her again. That's a neutral 75k is a lot, right? Like if it was counterclass, sure, then you're easily in striking distance, but that might be just out of her range. I don't know though. We could have gotten a little bit luckier, and we could have had better command codes. But I don't know. Not bad. Not bad. All right, let's try to get our competition answer. We'll do Gray first because we know we have access to Gray, nice and easy. And then we got Okita. Oh, good. This Okita is just as upgraded. That's good. And I think Gray is just as upgraded. Okay, actually, we'll go with Okita first just because she popped up. So we'll go with that one. But then we'll do Gray next. And then what was the other? Oh yeah, U was the other one. I don't think we have a U that is as upgraded as these other ones, but we'll use the best one we got, which is probably Rex's, I would expect. Atlas for her. Atlas is weird for her because using her skill again is less survivability. If we do get it again though, it's super good. Default's good too though. I would say Gozen is the most different of those areas. Gozen I think does feel pretty different because you kind of, the way you try to use the buffs from her MP and everything and like the slow game per turn and all that. She definitely, again, in practicality, she ultimately is pretty similar. You know, it's still still the whole battery, buster, crit, AoE thing, but I think it does, you know, the way you play it does feel a decent amount different, but yeah, it's still certainly under the same umbrella, like no doubt. Because the other ones all feel very similar. Like, all the other ones still feel very fucking similar, where she feels pretty different. Atlas or default? This really is tough. I think we do Atlas just because of the debuff at the start. And yeah, we don't have the debuff to their command code. I think default might be better. If we had that command code, I'm not sure though. Oh yeah, they do all have those combination of things, for sure. Yeah, Atalante is like all those, she's so similar, but she's behind, for sure. Yeah, they haven't really been very creative with their AoE Buster Sabers, unfortunately. Because if Arthur gets buffed again, they're probably just gonna buff his MP, which they should. You know, he's supposed. Out of all of those, lore-wise, he does have the strongest MP, right? So it makes sense for him to get an upgraded MP, but that's not gonna make him interesting in comparison to them at all, right? It's again just more of the same. So unfortunate. Yeah, I would say Artoria isn't just the worst Mordred anymore. I still think Mordred is better in overall, but Artoria has things going for her. That is okay. I will give that to Rex. That is true. That if you are doing Merlin, if you're going high-end Merlin waiver bullshit, right? I generally would say Mordred is better because at that point everyone's going to have the damage that you need to break the health bars, and you'd rather have like extra survivability or utility, which is what Mordred's got. So generally, yeah, Mordred might be better in that situation, but a lot of people don't have those things. And you might be in one of those rare situations where the enemy has just so much health that either Merlin waiver nonsense might not actually be enough, and maybe you do want her charisma and the NP up and all that kind of stuff, right? So there are times that Artoria can still be better. But yeah, I mean, Mordred's just really good because, you know, it's not just Mordred's third skill. That's not the only reason that I think Mordred is better a lot of the times, because, dude, it's not rare in the main story or in challenge quests that there's nasty debuffs, that it's a real game changer to be able to remove them, right? Like hell, even that Romulus challenge quest in Guildfest, right, where you had the option to remove, because sometimes you needed to get rid of the Roman trait, right? Like sometimes like, oh shit, this is trying to do damage, I need to get rid of that Roman trait. Mordred could just get rid of it, you know, she didn't have to be, oh, because most units have to plan ahead and be like, oh, I need to not attack, you know, get the Roman buff this turn, right? Where Mordred can just keep going and then, oh yeah, I can do it now, right? So there's plenty of times that the buffing level is good, but it's also Mordred's second skill. That skill is really good, right? It gives her, and you know, Artoria can get really good normal card damage too, but it's just so easy for Mordred to like reliably crit, even with no stars, right? No stars on the team, because because she funnels the stars to her Buster card specifically. It is so easy for those to crit. So I do think Mordred is better, but they're pretty comparable. A lot of times like if there aren't debuffs, the difference between them a lot of times isn't even relevant, right? It's like you're not going to notice. And then like and that goes to Artoria too, I suppose. Sometimes the extra damage Artoria has, you're not going to notice either because of break bars, but you might. It just depends. So they're apples and oranges overall. I would say Mordred is just more applicable, slightly more often than Artoria is. And I will say for farming, I really fucking like Mordred for farming, because nowadays they like to throw like single target enemies at you, like one enemy instead of three. They do that a lot. And man, I have found Mordred to just be so nice for those kinds of things, because she's got the option of like maybe clearing wave 1 with her NP, because even if it's single target, her NP will probably do enough. And then you can do like her second skill and get a huge crit and deal with the other one and stuff like that. That's been nice. Like just how easy it is for her to get crits on her second skill is pretty nice. But you know, charisma's good, man, because Artoria helps her teammates. Not only does the attack apply to herself, she's given, you know, more damage to her teammates, which there are plenty of situations that's applicable. Like Artoria is perfectly fine now, balance-wise. She's just kind of boring. That's like the problem. And there is the other drawback where sometimes Artoria's second skill is a bad thing. I've actually seen this. This has actually been happening to me more times than I thought it would when I've been testing out Artoria, where I'm going to break the enemy's health bar anyway. Like, I know I'm going to break it, but I'm not going to break it if I don't cast my second skill. That's the thing. It's like, okay, I need some damage. I need my second skill. I need that punch, right? But with my second skill, I'm definitely going to break this health bar, right? So I would like to do an art card, thank you, or maybe even a quick card, right, to make Stargen NP refund, right? But nope, turned them all into Buster cards, right, which is useless. Like, oh great, I'm gonna break the health bar anyway, and so doing Buster cards is the worst, right? If you know, it doesn't matter if the NP is not gonna break. Let's say you do Artoria's NP and you get the enemy's health bar down to, you know, 10k. You're probably gonna break with anything. It doesn't need to be a Buster card. It can be art, it can be quick, it can do whatever, right? And so you don't want it to be a Buster card because you want the Stargen or the art. Because a lot of times it's really nice on Artoria to do like NP art, quick art, or NP art or whatever, right? So it's kind of annoying that you have these situations where you need her second skill, but you don't want the Buster cards, but you're gonna get them if you like it or not, and that can be kind of annoying. Now, I still think her new second skill is still better than her old one. Like, even though that happens sometimes, there's still a lot of times that you want that normal card damage and you want to Ooga Booga, right? So, you know, you still have all that damage up, so it's nice. It's just annoying that second skill buff wasn't a straight buff, right? It would have been a lot nicer. We're like, yeah, this is just better all the time. Where now it's like, yeah, there's a lot of times it is better, but there are times that it's not, and that's just kind of stupid. And I legitimately think it's an oversight on their part, and I'm hopeful that they're going to change it, so... Although I feel like they're going to make us wait until like she gets buffed again for them to change it, because, you know, that's how they roll a lot of the time. I think we face tank here. But, no, I actually want... I want the damage now. Wait, did I cast my thing? Okay, I did. I should have been paying attention. I wasn't actually 100% sure that I cast the stun thing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It should be like Emia's, where you can just hit. Yeah, it is true. Otori is a very unique skill, and legit, I don't think there's no way they intended for like that slight those times where it's bad. So I think they just made it. You know, they're like, oh, whoops. So I'm hopeful that they'll do something about it at some point. Okay, man, we could have looped there. That would have been awesome. Okay, I think I face tanked on this turn. And then I use vulnerability on the next one. Please don't quick charge. Okay, I messed up. The way the damage ratios are working out here, getting that NP damage earlier like I did wasn't, fuck! Yeah, that's why I messed up. I could have evaded that turn and then invulnerability the next one. I was gonna break on my next NP with or without that NP buff before, right? So that wasn't right. That's hard to predict though. That's really hard to predict. So yeah, I should have waited one turn. Let's give her one more shot, because that's clearly a mistake on my part. Oh, we do have okay, we'll go back to Okita when she pops up again. Right, it's kind of nice. Okay, I feel like she's, oh boy, she's gonna have a hard time here. We have good command codes though. I guess Atlas just because of the debuff. Yeah, I'm totally fine. I agree with Rex on that one. It's just kind of the way they went about it. I think that's the problem. They do that all the time, though, Fury, for hype and, you know, sales. You know. But yeah, I kind of agree. It was kind of dumb putting her out like that. I kind of wonder if they weren't even planning on putting her out then, because they knew the Anniversary 5 was going to be disappointing. Like they knew. That's something I really get annoyed with. I see a lot of people saying Anniversary is fine, 5 is fine because they added Castor or Artoria. That's stupid. Right? They could have added Butch Cassidy and given him an amazing design, and that would not get me to say Anniversary 5 was good. Subjectively, I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking happy that I got Butch Cassidy. But that doesn't, you know, they're going to add a new unit no matter what, and that new unit is going to be liked by some people anyway. Like, so that means nothing, right? Like that's a, you know, they always add a new unit on the Anniversary, so that doesn't make Anniversary 5 good because they added Castor or Artoria. Like that's silly. Really hate this opening hand. I mean, they might have wanted to put her on the Anniversary anyway, because they do sometimes put servants out before they show up in the main story, and it's like a hype thing, right? So it's hard. It's really hard to say, because like, surely they knew in advance, like kind of where things were going with Anniversary 5. So they probably knew ahead of time that that things were not going to be, you know, ideal. So they might have, like, you know, rushed her development, but maybe not, right? They might have been planning it anyway, so there's really no way to know. This sucks. We're getting all of our command codes that go on cooldown. This is dumb. Yeah, 4th Anniversary was one of the, probably the most well-received Anniversary they've ever done, because they did a lot at once, they improved a lot of things in the game, and legitimately, I'll give them credit for that. Adding a bunch of new bronze is a legitimately awesome thing, because Everyone gets it, right? It's a universal, I'm telling you, I don't think I've ever seen the FGO player base so universally happy. That was a good time, man. I was happy, everyone in chat was happy, Reddit was happy, Discord was happy, because it was new toys for everyone, right? Like, who's not gonna be happy with that? It was just out of nowhere, unexpectedly, the entire player base gets a whole bunch of new toys, right? And if you don't like Chin Gong, well, hey, look, you got Gareth and you got Black Bart. If you don't like Black Bart and Gareth, you got Charlotte and Chin Gong and Jason, for God's sakes, and all the, like, that was, everyone got something they at least liked, right? And you didn't have to roll SQ, everybody got them. It was just new toys for everybody. They were all really fun gameplay. You had crazy stuff like you know, Skullfucker Salami, you know, really unique gameplay, and she's still useful to this day, right? Just great time, right? And all those bronzes have been, like, doing pretty well in the meta. I think Charlotte's probably doing the worst, but, you know, they're all viable bronzes, and they do well with grails, but they're not replacing anyone either. It's great. Like, I love those new bronzes, right? New toys for everybody, freebies, so unexpected, lots of new characters. They all have good animations, good voice acting, right? That was good, right? So Anniversary 4 was really nice. There was nothing like that in Anniversary 5. It was very easy to go into Anniversary 5 and literally have gotten nothing, right? Nothing you cared about. There was really no good system updates. You know, they didn't... I guess the best thing was to change the command codes. You know, that was kind of nice, but it was kind of hamstrung by the fact that they didn't update the goddamn UI when they still haven't. So yeah, that was kind of nasty. But there was just so many slaps in the face with Anniversary 5. I see so many people like, oh my god, why, you know, how dare people be mad at Anniversary 5? But it's like, it's kind of easy to see why people are mad at Anniversary 5, right? It's supposed to be like the big event, right? And I'm serious, the Anniversary events are the events I look forward to the most in FGO, right? Like 100%. They are 100% the time I am the most looking, like even now I'm looking forward to Anniversary 6 more than anything else. Because it's our best chance for them to do things that really improve the game, right? Because normally when they do big system updates, it's on the anniversary. So that's our chance for them to do story replay or a challenge tower or, you know, just, you know, core stuff like that that can really make the game better. And that's what I think the game needs the most. So of course it's the thing I'm looking forward to the most. But yeah, 5 was just so disappointing. It had buffs. They just, they were dumb. And also, I think everyone felt like, not everyone, but I think a lot of people, it's like, they didn't give us the typical buffs in the year, right? Normally, they would do, like, a round of strengthening quests, and then they would do buffs on the anniversary. They didn't do that. They skipped it. They only did them on the anniversary. So it didn't feel so good. And then, yeah, they buffed fucking Ku and Hercules, and you know, and that nonsense. So, you know, that wasn't, you know, I'm a big Ku fan, but that was such a slap in the face. Like, it's such a slap in the face to everyone that's a fan of Taiga, Proto-Ku, Pyramid. You know, it's just like, come on, man. Like, it's dumb. Oh yeah, Musashi. Yeah, she really didn't need that one either. Oh man, we have the debuff removal command code. Maybe I shouldn't have done Atlas, because she may well not go around the wheel. And yeah, obviously the buffs are for you. But like, the thing is, buffs are what they always do. New servant is what they always do. No, that's not... That doesn't make it a good anniversary event, right? That's like baseline. Yeah, it was a whole lot of nothing. It was a whole lot of like, hey look, we're doing things, but we're not really doing anything. And again, they could have added Butch Cassidy, for God's sakes, and given him amazing animations and everything, and I still would have been like, yeah, this isn't great. Okay, yep, default's gonna be better, because then I could heal, and, yeah, we're fucked. Do we have to hope he quick charges? I guess we just have to, oh, wait, is she a dragon? I thought she wasn't a dragon. Is she a dragon? I think she's a dragon. I thought she wasn't, but I think she actually might be. No, she's not. I'm pretty sure, because we did this last time where we thought she was, but then she wasn't, right? So I'm pretty sure she's not. Okay, Right now, Donzo is actually shitting on everyone and doing way better, but we can get more out of Gray than that, and we can get more out of Akita than that. So give me a second here. I will say Donzo's easier to play in these and against neutrals. It's really obvious. Like, well, I will say actually her normal cards aren't obvious anymore, and that I'm not even sure I was doing that right. But everything else, like the Mystic Code and when you cast your skills, for the most part, was pretty obvious. Okay, let's see. She does not have the debuff Clear Eyes, so I think she still wants Atlas. But so the big thing is don't cast Evade when I did. Yeah, big thing with Gray is they want you to think that she's like super connected to Artoria, but she really isn't. Like, they tried to make her super connected. The villagers tried to make her super connected to Artoria, but they kind of failed. And she is somewhat connected to Artoria, but a lot of people take like a lot of stuff at face value in that story, and they're like, oh yeah, she's just like a descendant of Artoria, and she had her soul infused with Artoria, but that's probably not the case. It's more like she's just someone that happened to look similar to Artoria, and they tried to infuse her soul with Artoria, and it didn't go very well. So she's actually not. That's why I don't think she's Dragon, is because she's really not that much like Artoria. Okay, game. Let's see how it is. Oh man, Donzo's got better command codes now, so we can do even better with her. But yeah, I think Donzo's gonna win this, to be honest. Everyone else is struggling pretty hard here. I think you might beat her though, we'll see. Especially if we had a U that it was as upgraded as these other assassins that we're using. So, for the most part, I like Siegfried's armor, but am I the only one that thinks his knee guards look really stupid? And like, I get it, he can't protect his chest and back because, you know, the curse, so of course he's not gonna have armor there, right? But the knee guards just look weird, and I feel like they're really out of place with the way they designed everything else, right? The way all the other stuff of his stuff is. Yeah, I saw that, Jen. We might give her. She's already in the lead by so much that I don't think we really need to try her more, but we'll see. We're trying to see how. We're basically trying to see how she's going to compare now, so we got to give all the other assassins a fair shake here. They've been having a bad time. Donzo's pretty good after a buff so far from what I see, but she's still not like amazing. I think she's a pretty solid 4-star AoE assassin for sure. She's definitely good. She gives your team a lot of survivability, some nice star gems, some decent damage, especially for buster teams. And she does okay damage herself. Nothing amazing, but she does okay damage herself. So she's pretty good. You know, I would say she's a good 4-star, right? Not an amazing one, but she's a good 4-star. Yeah, they only talk about him not being able to protect his back, but you can see the, you know, the glowing bullshit on his chest too, so, you know, I kind of think that's what, they were kind of going with the same vibe, you know, for both sides, if you will. And yeah, with the way the armor of what's the thing works, doesn't matter too much. It's still good though. I mean, you might as well, you know, his armor will still block like the throwing knives from Cursed Arm and shit like that, right? So it'd still be good to have it. I mean, why tax your armor or your skill thing, you know, if you don't have to? We're not in as good a shape as last time, but I still think we don't use our second skill here. No, he's not in top 3. No way. Like, he's good. Like, Siegfried's good, right? Like, he's a strong servant, but and we're talking, I'm assuming we're talking lore-wise here, but he's no way he's top 3. Not at all. There's just way too many broken-ass bullshit servants out there. Like, he's no slouch. Like, you know, he's definitely, you know, a strong lad. He's no, he's not like, you know, down there in the pits of. Okay, this sucks. At least we didn't get one shot though. What really sucks is that we're just not gonna get a value out of Anniversary Blonde. There's just no way. I mean, Atlas, there's no way. But if we don't bring it, we're gonna be even more screwed. Because of the, Wait, we guarded the debuff, didn't we? Because, man, you gotta remember, you got fucking, like, first of all, Suzuka Gozen lore-wise is pretty goddamn powerful, but then you got Gwaine. You got Gwaine and Lancelot and Mordred and Artoria and, like, and yeah, I think Artoria is kind of overhyped to some extent, but she's still really good. And then Arthur, for God's sakes, like, and there's a lot of fucking strong sabers out there. Sigurd, yeah, I mean, again, Siegfried is strong and he can keep up with them, no problem. And there are certain contexts where he's like amazing. Yeah, you got Rama, all that stuff. Now, actually, I don't agree that Sigurd is stronger than Siegfried. I actually think in a lot of ways Siegfried is stronger than Sigurd. It depends, right? They're apples and oranges, and there are certain areas that I would say Sigurd is better, especially because he's got the runes, right? The runes give him so much variety and utility lore-wise. Like, that's a big fucking deal. But Siegfried is so goddamn tanky. It really is wild, and also Siegfried is capable of like spamming his NP. Now I don't think Siegfried is stronger than Mordred. I don't think so at all. Now I do think if they fought 1v1, I think Siegfried would win because of his anti-dragon stuff, right? So in that exact matchup, I think he's better, but I don't really think he's better overall. They're close. They're quite close, and I might maybe give a slight edge to Siegfried, but not much. I think they're about the same. But I do think Siegfried would beat her 1v1 just because of those anti-dragon shenanigans. And she doesn't have a good way of dealing with his armor. Like, she just doesn't have a good way of dealing with his armor. Oh yeah, and Caesar, dude. Caesar is so fucking powerful lore-wise. Like, good god. Yeah, again, Siegfried, no bitch, but no way he's in top 3. There's no way. Alright, let's see. We got invulnerability. I'm not gonna die this turn. Do that. Yeah, Rama's good too. Rama's not as good as a saber as he could be because he nerfed himself. You know, broke his bow, so he's not an archer and all that. But yeah, he's still quite good too. It's a shame though, we never got to see regular Siegfried do much, and he was never trying his hardest. And then like when he fights Mordred, it's Zig, not Siegfried, and he didn't like know what the hell he was doing yet and all that kind of stuff, so. I will say this, if Mordred had gotten her sword legit, she would be a fucking monster, right? But because she didn't, kind of hurts. No reason to do our first skill this turn. We could, but we don't need it. I don't think we need it. I swear to God, if I end up needing the extra crit damage here, I'm gonna be pissed, but I don't think we need it. I'm actually not gonna do the stun resist here. I might regret that, but I'll probably use it next turn and not MP next turn, and then we'll probably die after that anyway. But honestly, Lancelot, my god, especially without plot armor and stuff, Lancelot's really scary. And Saber Lancelot, because he's so skilled. You know, he's more skilled than Berserker Lancelot, because although Berserker, a lot of people miss this, Berserker Lancelot is less skilled than he normally is because of Madness Enhancement. It's just that he's so skilled inherently that even with Madness Enhancement, he's still super fucking skilled. So he is more skillful as a Saber, and he also can have tactics and stuff, which is a big deal. And then, you know, Alondite overload and shit is wild, man. Because Saber Lancelot gets the stat boost from Alondite as well, then he can do all the overload nonsense and stuff. And he actually can fire it like a laser beam too if he wants to. It's pretty damn scary. Like, he's just got a lot of variety, because he's got really good armor. He's got he's one of the most skillful servants, period, right? He gets a lot of variety with his other like abilities and whatnot, and then his Alondite is just such a monster of an MP anyway. Like, I think he's much more dangerous than Artoria overall. If there's no plot armor and shit, because he's so skilled and Alondite is so good, Like that is a nasty guy to fight right there. And then you got fucking Gwen, who just has one of the absolute best. We didn't break. We didn't break. That's great. Okay, probably needed the first skill then. God damn it! I was trying to save it, but we're not gonna live long enough for that to even have been relevant. So yeah, I should have cast it then. God fucking damn it! So I think we could have, if things had gone a bit better, we could have probably broken that health bar and then at least gotten one, nice big punch on the next one. That's probably about as good as you're gonna get with her, though. I'm absolutely not gonna do as well as Donzo, but you could definitely do a little bit better than this, because this turn's gonna do a lot of damage and we're throwing it out the window, so it feels bad. That really pisses me off that didn't break there, and it sucks. But yeah, Gwen just has some of the best stats of any servant ever, and then his if you aren't tanky enough to phase tank Gwen's NP, you're gonna die. Like literally, if you can't phase tank Gwen's NP, you're gonna die. Because there's no evading it. There's no way you're getting away from that thing, right? It's the biggest blast radius of just about any NP we've seen, other than like, Aya or, Karna's or something, right? It's just this absolutely, that's its thing, is its blast radius is so fucking large. And so if you don't have like, some skills or abilities that make you extra tanky, extra thick, if you will, you're dead. I mean, you're just dead. There's no way to deal with it. And then in a stat off, you're super fucked. Or just be Nero and have plot armor and, literally change the laws of the universe so his NP for some reason isn't a giant AoE for some godforsaken reason. Okay, so do we do Greg? Yeah, let's do Greg again, because she's got the command code. I think we'll do better with default. Alright, then who was the other one? You. Yeah, you is the other one we need to do. Just run really far away, Yeah, that'll do it. Gwen's skills are just, oh my god. Like, what were they thinking with that? Honestly, Ari, I'm curious, because we were talking a while ago, remember, about you saying how, Gil is just so strong, it's kind of a mistake to use him in stories so much, especially as an antagonist, because it almost forces you to do really, like, dumb storytelling to have him not win. I kind of feel the same way about Gwen, really. Like, he's so broken that it's like, they always have to just magically have him not work the way he's supposed to work. Because if he does, he'll murder you, right? Like, it's dumb. Like, he's this insane AoE that ain't nobody dodging, right? And it's, if you don't, you have to specifically have something like, Roias, or like Achilles' shield, or like, maybe like, Mordred's armor with battle continuation and that kind of, if you're not a tanky son of a bitch, you're fucked, right? Like, it's dumb. And his stats are just so overwhelming. Like, I feel like they have to, like, just like with Gil, they have to like jump through hoops to have Gwen lose, and it just feels super unnatural and dumb. It would probably only take one life off Herc, because the way it works, like, generally, as far as we can tell, unless it specifically says something about it, interacts with it in a weird way, you can't kill him more than once, right? Because it's like, it's not like getting run up, if you get shot in the head by a sniper rifle, you don't, versus getting run over by a train, you don't die more times to the train, right? You're just dead, right? They've really hinted at, like, the whole line of swords with, like, Original Sin, and then what's the Graham or Garm? Is it Garm? I think it's Garm. And then Caliburn and those kinds of things. Those have, like, some kind of special thing that allows them to kill him multiple times, right? Most NPs are not going to kill him multiple times. It doesn't matter how good they are. And then even if you did want to say, pure damage equal more death, which is dumb, but even if you want to say that, Gwen's NP spreads the damage out over a large area. That's why its blast radius is so big. And yeah, it's an NP, so it hits hard everywhere, but I don't think it would kill him more than once, right? I don't think so. Unless, like, you want to say, unless the explosion lasted for so long that, like, Herc dies and then resurrects and the explosion is still going on, right? Then you would potentially kill him multiple times. Yeah, they kind of made that up after the fact, though, Fury. It doesn't really make sense, like, with the whole his damage resistance thing, because they never explained why Caliburn killed him multiple times. I think they tried to, like, because they literally didn't even explain what Caliburn did when they first put it out, like in Fates of Night and stuff. I think they kind of retroactively showed it with those little explosions to try to kind of justify why it works the way that it does. So I think their logic is Artoria stabbed Herc with the sword, so it was already past the God Hand, and then so all the explosions were all going off inside of him, and so they're all, you know, getting past God Hand already, right? Where if you, like, theoretically, if you didn't stab him with it and you fired it from far away, you know, it may not actually work that way. I think that's the logic they're trying to imply, but these straight up say, so this is a known thing, and this is not something they made up recently or anything, this has always been the case, and this is real life. Caliburn is derivative of the Sword in the Tree legend, right? And as such, the Sword in the Tree is generally stronger, and its effect is stronger. And then the Sword in the Tree is derivative of the however the fuck you say its name, you know, Original Sin. And so that one's even stronger. And so what they've said is, you know, Caliburn can kill Herc multiple times. It's not going to kill him all 12 times, but it can kill him several times. Garm can kill him multiple times. But it says this, that Original Sin can kill Herc all 12 times, just got bam, dead, right? Because it's like the eldest in the tree, if you will, right? Of that family tree of those kinds of swords. Original Sin is the best one. And it can just one-shot Hercules, which is absurd, but, you know, it is what it is, and so, yeah, that one can just straight up murder him. But most NPs don't have those kinds of effects and stuff, but, like, it's like holy swords and, you know, kind of stuff in that, like, you know, Excalibur, Caliburn, you know, kind of family tree, apparently. It kind of seems to be the ones like that, because none of the other ones they ever mention, you know, doing anything like that. Like, even if Ku, you know, boosts Bulg up to be a higher rank with his runs, and as such it becomes a very high rank, it still is only said to kill him one time, right? So it's not like power equal death. It's more like effect type and damage type and like ability equal more death. So most things, overwhelmingly, I think most things are not going to kill him multiple times. Like Aya might be able to kill him multiple times because Aya is just this continual, if Gil wants it to be, he doesn't always use it this way because Gil, but if Gil wants to, Aya can be like an unending vortex, right? It's like a non-stop torrent of wind that's ripping everything to shreds, and he can just keep it going for like ages. It doesn't have to stop, so it can be like a continuous blast. So if he wanted to, he could blast Herc with it, and the blast is just still going on, right? So the second Hercules reses, he's still getting blasted by Aya, right? So that could probably kill him a fuckload of times too if Gil wanted to. Gil rarely uses it like that. Honestly, some of the only times he's used it like that, actually I think the only times he's used it like that, I think are in Fate Strange Fake and against Iskandar. I think it's the only times he has ever used it in like its state where it's like a continuous vortex. I don't think he's ever used it like that any other time, so really only when he gives a fuck. Actually, the Taiga Dojo is not canon by any means, and actually it says it might be able to kill him more times. And like Ilias thinks it might, but they don't actually say if it can or not. But again, Excalibur is obviously in that family tree of, you know, holy sword bullshit nonsense. But yeah, they do have Ilia. Like Ilia says that she thinks it'll either kill him or take more lives, right? Like potentially, but they're not clear about it, and they kind of kept it vague on purpose, I feel. Can we stop getting our heal command code at like the worst time? So I would have to stress this. I hate this about Herc, right? Because he has 12 lives, the writers like having him die like a bitch all the time. It's stupid. And when you look at his skills, his stats, his ability, what they've said about him, most servants, you're not going to kill him once. It's not like, oh yeah, just cast Excalibur, lol, right? Like, it doesn't work that way, right? Because you're normally not going to have time to cast Excalibur against Hercules, because if you hadn't noticed, he's really fast. They even make note of this. He's just so fast, he's so strong. You know, normally you don't got time. Yeah, because Excalibur has a slightly longer wind-up time than a lot of other NPs do, right? And Artoria's even made note of that in a few of her fights, like with Kojiro and stuff. So, like, normally you're not going to have the circumstances to use what like, Gwaine is not necessarily going to be able to just bust out his NP anyway, right? Because Hercules isn't just going to stand there. But yeah, but they like to have Hercules just stand there and get blasted a lot because he has 12 lives, and so they like to use him as, like, oh, we can like show off how awesome this other character is without killing off Herc, right? But again, when we look at how strong he is, how skilled he is, how fast he is, it's actually really hard to kill him once at all. And something another thing that I dislike, and this isn't, they did a better job in the visual novel, because I mean the visual novel jumped through hoops to make sure you realized how unfair the circumstances were with Hercules versus Saber Alter, but the anime doesn't do that at all. If anything, it does the opposite. They make it pretty clear in the visual novel, Hercules can't move around like he wants to. He can't evade like he wants to. He doesn't have the freedom of movement like he would like, because he's being restricted. There's like mud everywhere, and actually the mud on him is restricting his movements, right? They don't really show that in the movie because, of course not, gotta, you know, make Artoria look like the best thing ever. But in the visual novel, they make it really clear that the shadow is making so many problems for Hercules that it's physically restricting him, and the areas in the environment, you know, he's limited where you can move. So he's unable to, you know, really evade like he's supposed to. And then, so Herc is weaker than normal in that fight, and Saber Alter is way stronger than normal in that fight because she has unlimited mana because of the Grail. Can we just give Herc the Grail instead, right? Can we have the Shadow nerfing Artoria instead, and then have Hercules have unlimited mana? Can we see that fight scene, right? Because yeah, it's one of the most unfair fights ever, and everyone uses it as an example of Hercules being a bitch or Saber Alter being like the strongest thing ever. And it's like, no, it's just a really fucking unfair you know, circumstance here. They do that all the time though with Artoria. Anytime there's like context that would kind of makes it clear that Artoria is getting lucky or she's got things helping her or whatever, they try to obscure that in the anime all the time, right? Because they gotta make Artoria look like the best. So you're literally never gonna see a Fate story without plot armor, because you don't. Stories without plot armor, period, are really rare, because you don't want your main character dying in episode 1. You don't want the main bad guy dying in episode 5. You don't want Joey beating, what was his name? Merrick? No, that's not right. What the fuck was the bad guy in Yu-Gi-Oh? I can't remember, right? But it was Merrick? Okay, whatever. Yeah, you can't have Joey beat Merrick, right? It's not dramatic. Right, so you always have plot armor in these things, and the reason for that is because a story is a contrived thing inherently anyway, right? Now, there are a few stories out there. There's actually a writer that Saber Nero was telling me about. I think it's a manga writer, and he basically set out, he decided, all right, I'm gonna tell a story without plot armor. And he was like, I'm gonna make sure I don't have plot armor in this, and what happens, happens. I'm gonna make like the you know, the abilities and the thought process of the characters, and I'm gonna try to let it play out logically. And like, it got really whack. Like I think the main character gets his ass kicked like halfway in. The main bad guy like didn't work out the way you would think at all. It got really weird from when I was. So I haven't read it, but it sounded interesting, so I kind of need to check that out. So every once in a while you might have a story that doesn't have plot armor, but it's almost never a thing. What I find really stupid about the Merrick thing, and I haven't seen Yu-Gi-Oh! In a long time, but I'm pretty sure this is how it goes, right? Joey would have beat Merrick skill-wise, right? Like Merrick lost the game, right? It's just the Shadow Realm took a toll on him, and so he got knocked out, you know, like a half a second before winning, right? Now, what I find really dumb is that Merrick then proceeds to be cocky after that. Like, what? Like, he's all, like, when he fights Joey, he's all like, no one can beat me, I'm a god, I'm the best, no one can ever beat me, oh shit, I would have lost that, oh god. And then he goes on to fight Yugi, and he's like, I'm the best, I'm the strongest, nobody can beat me, and then he's surprised when he loses. It's just like, what is wrong with, like, no one is that dumb, right? Like, no one is actually that stupid. Like, you just lost, champ. Merrick is your average League of Legends player? That's amazing. That's actually pretty accurate. It's like, no, I didn't just beat that guy because I had way better items than him. No. I'm better than that guy, even though I only had 1 HP left, and I have way better items than him right now. I'm totally the best, right? Like, yeah, that's it. That's Merrick right there. Okay, this is looking better. Please don't one-shot me. Please let us at least break this health bar. Like, can we have a good showing here? You know, I don't think I should have healed there. I should have just used the command code. That was a good turn to use our art card, so that was a mistake. I really wish that had crit. I wish that had crit. I mean, the farther you get into the game, obviously the game is expecting you to have more units because you've had more time to level units. I think I've absolutely proven this on my newbie account, which I barely farm on. If you are intelligent with how you play the game and you're making sure you level up a balanced roster, you can beat every bit of content as you get to it, right? I beat Shimosa first. Like, fuck you guys. You sons of bitches made me do Shimosa the second I beat Guadia, and I still beat it. So, yeah, fuck you guys. Like, the game, what it demands of you is reasonable, right? Like, now I will agree that I think the game should do a better job of maybe handing you a few ascension mats here and there to kind of make it a slightly smoother curve, right? But, you know, and for God's sakes, you know, I was still handicapping myself a little bit, right? Like, I wasn't like I was doing everything possible, so... Because, you know, I'm not even leveling half the shit that I should be because I just don't want to. Okay, we might better break this health bar. I fucking hope so. It's gonna be close. So even though we didn't technically break the health bar +1 on Okita, it's obvious that if things go well for her and you play well and you don't get like really unlucky, Okita could break the health bar to get one turn into the next one, right? So still quite a bit behind Donzo, but not bad. It's looking like Gray is just gonna be pushing it to break at all, but I'm thinking we are gonna break. And actually, we might get one turn into the next health bar. We'll see. Actually, I might do chat versus FGO pretty soon. I need to take an off day where I don't stream and stuff, where I have time to like do a lot of under the hood stuff. Because man, I have like no free time right now when I stream and do videos and everything. So I need to just look at the plugin, figure it out, make sure it works properly, maybe do a test stream, yada yada. But yeah, we should do that pretty soon, honestly. Imagine bragging about beating a singularity when you only beat it because the game held your hand the whole time by giving you Masashi in every boss. I know, right? She's okay against Baldi, at least. Like that, then she's fine. But, yeah, the rest of them aren't so good. Please break. Please break. Just get a crit, forehead. Okay, well, she could break, right? I don't know how reliable it would be, but she could break, right? So, you're cutting it close, but she could break. So she's probably a little bit behind Okita. Sometimes Okita is going to be in that same boat, though. They're quite close. It's more like, I think Okita peaks higher. Like, a lot of times both Gray and Okita are just going to break and that's it. But Okita is definitely, I think, more likely to get one turn into the next health bar, so I think Okita's a little bit ahead there. But so far Donzo's actually winning by quite a large amount. Let's give you a go here. Give me 1 second though, I need to get water. Gray, though, like I said, she's more aimed at team play, but those other units do about just as well as team play as well. So Gray is a little bit behind, but Gray is MP5 for free, so you know, still very handy. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so to not be a complete asshole, and hopefully that guy is still in chat, but the guy's saying he's struggling, right, and he's been playing for 8 months, right, and whatnot. So here's the trick, right? You want to, by all means, level up units that you like, right? I leveled up Geronimo on that newbie account I've been playing, right? Like, that was not a meta thing to do. You have wiggle room to level servants that you just like, of course. But you want to make sure you get a few, you know, fundamental servants leveled, right? That's what, there's a lot of servants that will give you so much mileage. They're applicable in so many circumstances. They're gonna help you a lot with like the main story and challenge quests and that kind of shit. So, you know, make sure you got something like David. You got something like St. George or Leonidas, you know, level Hans. Make sure your mash is upgraded. Those servants will give you a backbone that will like enable you to do a lot of content, right? And then make sure you're not like ignoring, like this is a mistake I see a lot of people make. They're only leveling their golds, and so I say this every stream, I swear. But if you only level your golds, you are gonna have massive holes in your roster, right? Because you're probably not gonna have a golden single target rider, right? So if you don't have a gold single target rider, you need a level like Ushi or something, right? Or Ricky Boy, right? Maybe if you like Ricky Boy more than Ushi, go with Ricky Boy, whatever. But like, you know, if you don't have something in that role, you need to level 1, right? It doesn't matter if you think, oh, they're just a 3-star. Like, no, you need it, right? You need a single target archer. You need a single target rider. You need a single target lancer. You need a single target, like, you need these things, right? So if you don't have a gold one, level a goddamn 3-star, right? You fill out your roster, make sure you got something of each thing. And as time goes on, so you kind of, what I do on like my new accounts or my ult accounts and stuff, or back when I was new to the game, right, is you kind of like, you kind of half and half it, right? You level some units that you just want to level, your favorite character, your waifu or whatever, but then you want to level some practical units too, right? Because, you know, like, I think it really is insane not to level David, right? Like, you just, literally everyone should level David. He is just such a universally helpful unit that will, you know, give you so much variety, and he, how have I did not realize I had never foed his health. I've whiffed so many foe items because I didn't think what the fuck? What is wrong with me? I need to fix this. Anyway, that is a yikes. I can't believe that I had no idea I had not foed him there. Anyway, not only is he like this universal support that can really help you out, but he also is usable as a damage dealer, right? Yeah, he's not the best one, but he's usable as a damage dealer against sabers and berserkers and stuff, so. Dude, I'm pretty sure, like, I have so much dumb shit at max foe that I don't even care about because I was like, oh, hey, I have all these foe items, I gotta give them to somebody. Like, you know, Rice Man's got it. Wow, Kid Guild doesn't either, but I don't ever fucking use Kid Guild, so that's not that surprising. Like, I have so many dumbass units that are max foed, right? Okay, that I'm really not surprised by. That's actually legit to not max foe that one. But let's see here. Let's see, because I mean, I don't think we need to check these. I mean, these are obviously gonna be max foed, but yeah, he's almost 2K foed. Feels good. Why is he foed? We literally have Gil on this account for the dragon stage. I don't understand why I foed him. That doesn't make any sense. I guess I'm hoping someday they'll add interlude replay, right? So you know, I can actually use my Gil on this account instead of using my old account's Gil. Yeah, I mean, overwhelmingly, you know, because I remember. Okay, you chat. You don't understand. You don't understand. Literally after the event that we just did, the imaginary scramble event, I had a lot of I had to roll to get NP5 Benkei at level 25 for that video. Don't ask. So I used a lot of FP. So I had a lot of foe items just sitting around and they were taking up my inventory space. I was trying to find people to foe, and I just couldn't find any. Right? I kept clicking like random people I thought that might not be max foed, and they were all max foed. And then I come in here, and fucking David isn't max foed for some godforsaken reason, so I'm like, what the hell, man? The reason is, it's because David is someone that I've probably just assumed so hard has been max foed this whole time. I never check him, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, it's David, he's such a staple, of course he's max foed. It's like, I wouldn't check Ku to see if Ku's max foed, right? But apparently, I've been letting this slip for a while. I think I got rid of most of my foe items too because, yeah, I was like, they're in the way. Feels bad. Gonna have to remember, David's not maxed there. And who was the other one? Kid Gil. Kid Gil wasn't maxed either. I know, this is my main. I know. It's, I bet you, I think David is max filled on every other account, too. That's the thing. Alright, it's you time. Okay, I don't know, Rex. I don't know about that. I mean, it's his unit, so it's his call, but I don't know about that. I feel like starting in P is going to be better. We'll see what happens. But, I don't know, I'm skeptical. I don't need to sort it because the way I've got it, they would still show up. Now, to be fair to you here, she is not as every other assassin we've used has been NP5 level 100, right? And they've had the bit like really good command codes, all that nonsense. You is not quite on that level, but she's close, right? She's not way behind. She's level 90 NP5. Not as good command codes though, but they're still decent. I'm so skeptical about this this CE though. I think it's gonna buy us maybe one extra turn, but I think we're gonna lose more than one turn of damage over the course of this. So I'm thinking we want something more standard. Golden Sumo would be ideal, but I know you don't have that, so I don't know, maybe the Jolter one, that wouldn't be too bad. I don't know, maybe Rex is right, but I think Rex might be right with this call if we were fighting a Rider, right? Because at that point we'd be so tanky with the healing that that'd be pretty good. But I feel like at most this will buy us one turn, at most. And it might not even buy us a turn, right? Especially if you like Buster Crits or something stupid. What do you think? I think I used my first skill. Like, if I had gotten an amazing hand here, probably not, but because I didn't, I think we just do it. Oh god. Oh my god. We could have gotten our NP. We could have gotten our NP. We're actually so close because of our... Oh, I'm just resetting. That's stupid. We're so fucking close because of our third skill. God. Yeah, she's like 2 NP short, right? Because of the roundup. I'm getting her NP. It is weird that she's not like she's a real vampire, right? And for her vampiric rank isn't actually that high. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I guess it's because maybe they're saying like the legends and the stories for like Vlad and stuff, or like, you know, more famous, right, than even a real vampire is. So that I guess that's kind of why maybe. Like they may have done it on purpose. Okay, see now do I use my first skill? I think no. I think well, yeah, no, I don't think we do. Okay, I don't even know about that one, Rex. I can't even... I don't even know. Like, that one really doesn't even make any sense. Like, I know they have it, but I've never understood that at all. Okay, now we'll get our NP. Do I use our art card? We'll get our NP without it, and we'd be wasting the heal. How much do I care about the heal? What's gonna kill us is his NP. Damage versus whipping the heal. I'll use it. I'd like to point out that gameplay-wise, it's really fitting for her to get HP off of attacking with that command code. It's kind of nice. Oh, Lost Belt 3. Okay. Do we just go Burr? Yeah, I think we go Burr. Okay. Okay, I am thinking we messed up by using that art card because I could heal right now and we like that'd be pretty good and we could have the heal boost, right? So I think I fucked that up. Did that crit though? Yeah, we could have quite a bit of health right now if I hadn't messed it up. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. We need to not die this turn. That's going to be difficult. Why is Siegfried gotta be like this? Alright, let's see. I can heal boost, and then we'll heal again at the end of the turn. It's possible that we'll live here, but it's not that likely. Yeah, we're pretty dead. Well, I'm thinking if things go well, we're gonna be able to break the first health bar, but we need things to go a bit better than that. So honestly, they're all, I'm thinking most of them are pretty tied. It's looking like Gray, you, all that stuff, because also U's 90, not 100. If U was 100 and whatnot, she's probably gonna break that first health bar. But I don't think she's gonna get that far into the next health bar. I don't think so. Might, especially at 100, she might be able to get one turn into the next health bar. But I think that's about as far as it's gonna go. But yeah, I'm pretty confident level 100 she'd be able to break that first health bar. But so yeah, they're all about equal in terms of like numerical value, just like in straight, you know, survivability damage ratios. They're all about the same. Although honestly, Donzo is ahead of them. It looks like, because she's a good bit ahead of them. Although if Donzo gets crit into oblivion, she can die and only break the first health bar as well. So they can kind of all be in the same boat if things go bad enough. Having the heal command code and heal boost on Buster cards would buy her another turn. Yeah, maybe. That's another thing. Our command codes aren't quite like some of those other units we're using are kind of top of the line command codes, but these are still good. We're using decent stuff. It's not like they're shit or anything. But I don't think there's any world where Yu is actually beating Danzo here. I don't like. We could potentially squeeze out a bit more value, maybe change the command codes, maybe change the CE, you know, things like that. You might be able to wiggle out a bit more, but it'd be tough to get where Danzo got, because Danzo got pretty far. Like, Danzo might even be able to beat this, which is pretty wild. That would definitely take some serious RNG. And I'm thinking, I think she'd be like a little bit short, like basically half a turn short is kind of where I feel like you're going to end up on Danzo, even if things go really, really, really well. Let's not heal. Let's just pretend we got 2 quick cards. Oh darn, we only got 2 quick cards. I mean, Mordred is just such a fucking joke in Lost Belt 3. I hate that she's in Lost Belt 3. Like, I fucking hate it, because it not only was she wasted, she does nothing, she's just sitting there saying hi, but then it means we're like guaranteed to get like no Mordred for ages, right? I constantly see it. I literally saw a post on Reddit the other day. This guy left this giant paragraph post about Lost Belt 3, and in it he was like, and yeah, Mordred is just being used so often. God, I'm so tired of it. And I'm just like, this is just stupid. It's like she does nothing in every story they ever use her in. Yeah, I know, they used her again in Lost Belt 5 too, and again, she does literally nothing. I hate it, dude, because one, I like the character, so I want her to get used properly, but then her getting used all the time, it just means she's not going to get used again, and she's never going to get used properly. Like, it's so bullshit. Like, if Mordred had some kind of serious role in Lost Belt 6, people would be mad. Like, oh my god, they're using Mordred again. Right? When she never does a goddamn thing. And then even in Camelot, the Camelot Singularity, that was like Omega warped Mordred. So it's like, it's barely even the same character. Like, her motivations are so different. I don't even like Camelot Mordred, to be honest. But at least she got some screen time there. But like, god. Like, it really pisses me off. It's one of my least favorite things that's been going on in FGO, is them constantly using Mordred, but then using her in such a shallow way, so you never get anything, and then it makes the entire community be like, oh my god, they use Mordred so much. It's like, oh, joy. Yeah, no, meanwhile, Masashi gets, like, character arc and development and, you know, actually does things and shit. It's pretty annoying. I don't know. I wonder. We should give Rex's CE a chance, because I do wonder if you get your NP on time with your first skill, if that does end up buying you enough time to do better. Because of the break bar, you might have like an awkward damage thing where you don't actually need more damage from a CE. Normally, I'd say that's not the case, but there's always a chance that could happen. Yeah, and that's I'm telling you, that's all Mordred does. That's all Mordred does in Lost Belt 3, and she fails. So it's nothing. Like it's like a nothing. They're basically just, you know, trying to make it look like they're at least trying, right? Like, what to do? Well, I would say Nukehead has got, like, she hasn't been used as many times as Mordred, and she also doesn't get used particularly well. But I think she was used a little bit better than Mordred was. But yeah, it's pretty similar where she hasn't been used in a particularly meaningful way. Why does he crit her so much? I swear he wasn't critting very much against everybody else. And now he quick charged. Actually, him quick charging is kind of a good thing. Wait, that's not a good thing though, because now I can't use my third skill. Fuck me. Maybe I should have gone for my NP, but I wanted the max heal. Getting our health back though, that's good. It's weird the way they use Nukehead and Mordred though. It really is strange to me. I kind of feel like maybe like the, you know, Time Moon wanted to use those characters, but then whoever was writing those individual stories didn't really like those characters or didn't like know what to do with them. Like that's kind of what it feels like, and in that case, you just shouldn't use those fucking characters, for God's sakes. I need to get my MP next turn. This will work, right? This might, this should work. Low hit count. Okay, there we go. Okay, you're scaring me here. I don't think I don't think Atlas is right. We're really not going to get any value out of these. We might get one more turn here. Remember when they used to have fight scenes in like the books and the visual novels where, you know, they'd be like explaining what the two characters are thinking and doing, what their abilities do, so you got like a lot of insight to both characters, so you could have like, you know, Emiya versus Ku, where like a bunch of both characters there got like really shown off really well, where in FGO it's like none of that. By the way, we could have broke there, and also we could have lived that turn. We could have broke there, and we could have lived that turn. We almost did, and then we could have attacked the next. So in the best case scenario, hey Boatless, what's up, man? Jesus, the race up for 34 months though. How you doing, man? But yeah, in the best case scenario, I think she could break the first health bar and do one turn into the next one. That won't happen often. That will not happen often. That'll happen like 20% of the time, and maybe. And there's no way she's going past one turn into the next health bar. So she's still behind Donzo by a good bit. Yeah, well, I guess she wasn't level 102 though. But honestly, I feel pretty confident in straight raw like number value. I think Donzo is the best of the lot, like by a pretty noticeable amount, honestly. Give me 11 grails and I can see what I can do. Yeah, I know the feeling. Do we try Cleopatra? She's obviously a 5-star. Although, honestly, I think it's fair, because Cleopatra is level 90, not 100, and literally every other assassin we used was NP5. That's a big fucking deal. This Cleopatra's only NP2. So, yeah, let's try Cleopatra and see how she does. I mean, actually, those other assassins all had survivability, though. All of them did. Now, obviously, there are other assassins that don't, but... And the thing is, I know I can say this with so much certainty because I've been playing this game for so long, and I do challenge quests over and over and over again. I do main story boss fights over and over and over again. I do solo, I do team play, I do all of the nonsense. There are certain things that solos absolutely test, and there are some things that they don't, right? Like, Fuma is not too great. You can test some of his kit in a solo. You can test what his average, you know, what's the average damage he's going to do and what's his average survivability, because obviously the damage output and stuff is different in a team, but it's all relative to each other, right? It's all the same, right? So like the effect that like Fuma's going to have in damage and survivability in solo versus team is the same as anyone else's for the most part, with a few exceptions like Ku, because it protects you from arrows. But there are things you can't test, right? There are certain things that a solo, like numerical value, you can test in a solo very well, right? Because any difference between team play and solo is going to be the same for most units. But you cannot test utility generally. You cannot test, you know, team-based thing like Pinth. You know, Pinth is so much about, you know, showing up, dropping team buffs, and doing decent damage yourself, and then dying, right? Like she's so about that it's just that doesn't work in a solo. And then you also have certain toolkits like Lancelot, right, where his whole thing is taking advantage of Star Absorb. So he's normally not going to have every single card in the deck. Where if he does have every single card in the deck, Star Absorb doesn't do anything, right? So Star Absorb absolutely does not work in a solo. A lot of like debuff stuff doesn't, you know, because Fuma is so about the attack down, the crit down, the defense down. Those things all benefit his teammates, right? And it's pretty, and again, these still are applicable against someone in a solo. It's good to have attack down for yourself and crit down for yourself and these things. So those are kind of testable in solo, but not as much, right? So it depends on the kind of unit. When it comes to numerical value, your survivability to damage ratio, you can absolutely test that in a solo, 100%, because yes, it's going to work slightly differently in team play, but it's going to work differently for everybody, you know, relatively the same. So that kind of stuff, numerical value, you can easily test. Now, of course, you're going to have units that may have good or bad numerical value, right, for like a solo, but then there's something else in their toolkit as well that you're unable to test. Like, for instance, with Donzo, we're not really testing her, the fact that her bust drop is team-wide, you know, the Stargen stuff, you know, that stuff is not being tested in a solo in any way. Like, it's just not, right? But you are able to test her average survivability, her average damage, her normal card, you know, damage output, those kinds of things. And it was same for a lot of the other units, right? Where there are, of course, you know, there are, and like supports is like the biggest thing you generally can't test in a solo in any way, even if they are a good solo unit, because their whole purpose is like buff stacking and damage, you know, thresholds and you know, utility with like looping and, you know, those things you're not getting those in a solo. It's not going to happen. And so like, here's another example, not Virgil, right? Not Virgil can loop a lot easier in a solo than he can outside of a solo, but it's still, that's everybody, right? So it's all relative, right? So like, not Virgil's ability to solo or ability to loop is obviously very easy in a solo, but in team play, just like everyone else, you compensate for that not always having his art cards by giving him art up, so the NP gets even more, right? Or maybe you just have NP gain up, so even his quick card will get more when you've got it. And that affects everybody, right? Like, Ortoria Archer is not gonna have her art cards in every hand, right? So that's gonna affect her ability to loop the same as everyone else, right? So that those kinds of things, you know, yeah, it will absolutely change like how good of a solo unit you are, but the relative like numerical value you're seeing is the same. Like, the average damage you're going to get out of Donzo before she dies is going to be reflected in what she can do in a solo, right? Versus, you know, other people. Now, again, that doesn't always matter because you have health bars, you know, Gray getting her NP faster because of the battery, and just boom, doing the thing. You know, those things are obviously, you know, relevant. You know, that's why I was saying Gray kind of does, she's a unit that obviously does a bit more outside of a solo than in one. But still, you know, because Gray is worse in some ways, right? Gray does have less damage to survivability ratios than Donzo. Blatantly, like that doesn't, solo or not, that is absolutely the case, right? And so the fact that you see that in a solo, you're absolutely going to feel that aspect of the character in team play, that on her own, she does not have as much survivability going for her, and she's not generally going to do as much normal card damage as Donzo in the long run because of that, unless you're, you know, compensating for that. But that's what other units do, and that's pros and cons for those other units, and that's kind of the point. The best thing, though, you can test in a solo is Last Man Standing, right? Because Last Man Standing is so similar to soloing. It's, you know, the one difference between soloing and Last Man Standing is that kind of awkward transition into, like, maybe letting your last unit die so it becomes a solo, right? And some units struggle with that. Like, Herc is a good example of that, because if Herc is alone and Guts goes off, the turn's over. Where if they've got that lingering, Hans hasn't croaked yet, you know, the enemy could crit Herc, pop Guts, attack Hans, and then target switch back to Herc and take another Guts, right? So there are some things that are worse in Last Man Standing than they are in a proper solo, but the reverse is true too sometimes. So, but Last Man Standing and solo are very, very similar, right? Oh shit. We're not gonna get our NP. That's stupid. I think I get it if I do this, though. That's really dumb how easy it would be for her to get her NP by this point. But Leonidas just isn't having any of that. That really sucks because it means we whip the heel for 2 turns. That's actually incredibly bad. Like, seriously, Cleopatra has no... Oh my god. Alright, that is so bullshit. Like, she needs so little cards to get her NP in time if she had starting NP, and she had starting NP. But like, I've been playing this game long enough, I can see it clear as day, right? I do so many solos, I do so much team play, that I can tell when something is like, oh yeah, you can really see the weight of this in solo, you know, relative to in team play. And I can see when, yeah, absolutely, you fucking can't, right? Like with fucking Lancelot, that's such a good example of that. And then like, you know, obviously Merlin is a good solo unit, but like what makes Merlin mostly useful isn't that. Right, so you're not testing that. You know, Merlin doesn't capitalize so good on his, you know, giant buster up and crit up and attack up, right? He just, yeah, he capitalizes on it some, but it's just not relative, right? Maniac did the emote, and then Airy did the George one, which is why it, like, you know, it looks a little bit better with the, you know, the card art to face stuff. You know, obviously the late 90s one stands out a little bit, but it, you know, it's really good for now. It's really nice. I'm surprised Maniac was able to do that well with what he was working with. All right, this is a much better opening hand for once. Feels good. We're whiffing our heal, but, you know, what are you gonna do? Oh yeah, and another thing, oh my god. Now, this can be tested in a solo, but it won't be tested in this kind of solo. A lot of, like, soft survivability type units don't do so great when they're at neutral, because the normal card damage coming at them is just crazy. Now, that's not always true, though, and I've said this before. A lot of times when you fight at neutral against a boss that's not supposed to be super hard, it kind of mimics the damage output of a boss that you're counterclassing that does hit really hard, right? Like a proper challenge quest saber is going to hit harder than Siegfried here. So you kind of mimic that by not counterclassing him, right? But it's generally not totally one-to-one with the ratios like that, and especially with damage cut units, dear god. Like with damage cut units, it's very noticeable when you're not counterclassing, right? It's super fucking noticeable when you're not counterclassing. Now, of course, you can solo and be counterclassing, right? But you don't always have a stage good enough to do that and get, because then if you're fighting a stage like this and you are counterclassing, it's too easy, right? And it's like the other problem. Wait, why didn't I remove the, oh god, I didn't remove the quick down last turn, and I think I did a quick attack too. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's pretty easy to see that, like, what's her name? The Neat, you know, she's so unapplicable to what Donzo and Cleo and Gray and all of them are. I can tell you, though, I've seen it pretty clearly. Gray does struggle when it comes to survivability, right? Because she is a 4-star, she doesn't have that high of a health stat, and her, you know, she doesn't have a full invulnerability skill. It's a one hit, right? That's, you know, it can be a problem for her sometimes. It's something you need to kind of factor into your team. You might be more likely to want to bring a bit harder survivability because of that, right? Which may lower your damage, though you may have something like, you know, some bullshit support that like Merlin or something where you don't have to worry about that. But, you know, not everyone's in that boat. Do we have buff success chance? We do. We have not tried Semiramis. She's also a 5-star, though. Although, honestly, I would expect Donzo to do about as well as Semiramis, if not better. I think Semiramis might have a bad time here. But Semiramis is also like, I will say Donzo actually is disproportionately affected by solo because she does have a lot of team stuff. But so does Semiramis. Probably more so with Semiramis. Semiramis might do a little bit better than you might think, just because if she is able to get a lot of MPs off quickly, she can get enough defense up to buy her an extra turn, and she does have decent normal card damage and that kind of thing. Yeah, Semiramis is one of those. She's, you know, she's good, but she's nothing to really write home about, unfortunately. But she's all right. I've seen people say she's like so worthless. I don't really buy that. Like she's pretty solid. Please don't quick charge, Siegfried. Don't do that. I mean, Siegfried has yet to quick charge into his MP, but this today, but I've seen him do it in the past. So. She missed the defense. Yeah, it's not great. Oh my god, are you Well, I mean, pretty much all of our units would have died when shit like that happens, so god damn it. She's actually more, like, ready for that kind of thing than most, but, dude, when Siegfried Buster crits... Damn, son, indeed. Maybe I should have done my invulnerability, honestly. But I mean, really, that was so much damage that pretty easy to not see that coming. hand slipped. So I'm so happy that we have Leonidas cards, and clearly Chad is too. But I got just shout outs to how much I love George cards, by the way. Like, one, George does this to us more often because we bring double George a lot. But I fucking love I love that emote so much. Because it's not just a meme about George getting the cards. His facial expression is just so good. It's like that eyebrow raise. You can use that. I've used that emote in like so many ways. I fucking love it. It's so good. And like, I don't know, it's really easy to tell that's George, right? Like with the bangs and stuff, it works. It's really good. Yeah, Ari really killed it with that one. It's excellent. Nope. I'm actually gonna remember this time. Every time I say excellent, I always think now of Pro ZB saying excellent. It's kind of dumb. Okay, we'll get her NP. This hand does kind of suck though, but what are you gonna do? Dude, remember that? What was it? Somebody said some insane bullshit about what they thought George cards was. Well, I can't remember what it was. They thought they didn't even. It was so insane that I would never think anyone would think it. But I can't remember what it was. They said some crazy shit about what they originally thought it was. So I was just like, what? You know what? I think I do. No. The reason I don't want to use Invulnerability is because you want to use it when you can heal, and you can use it for like a double heal turn, right? But using it early means you can get it back sooner with Atlas, so it's like a whole thing. The Ginger Bent you playing poker, right? Clearly. Oh my god, that's it, Rex. That's what it was. They thought that, you know, I will admit, our waiver mode is not very good. And like Kai's even said, like, it really needs some work, but because like, you can't really tell that he's waving from far away, right? It doesn't really work. But in no world should anyone think that's Lantoria, right? Like, what the fuck? Can you stop critting us? Like, Siegfried, please. So we landed the defense up, so we probably don't need to do the invulnerability, but just in case he quick charges, I'm doing it. I may regret that, like whipping the defense up like that's not necessarily the way to go, but I hate, why does the 100% crit have to be the one card I don't want to use? Because we're going to heal enough that there's no point in putting it on cooldown. Like, there's literally no point in putting this on cooldown. I'm just gonna like hope that these crit, so the art card is like worth it. Yeah, we got, guys, I just saved scum. I just saved, no, okay, if I had saved scum, we would have reversed the Buster order there, but, yeah, see, we heal again, right? So the heal from that is pointless. Oh my god, I just realized how bad it was using invulnerability there. Because we whip another turn of our defense up. Oh, no, yeah, oh no, we did not play this right. That is not right. Like, we're getting no value out of Imperial Privilege this way. And, like, I think we could have healed back up to full without it, too, if we had used the command code and heal boost and everything, right? Basically, all we got out of Imperial Privilege was the attack buff because of the way I played this. Oops. Because, yeah, I could have had the regen heal and the command code boosted heal. He could have crit, that is true, but I think you kind of just suck it up and deal with it and try to get it where that doesn't happen. Like, to get peak performance, right, you need to maximize what you're getting out of your skills there. surprised she's doing this well at NP2 though. And with me playing like an idiot. I put all that work into making sure I had the buff success chance up too. But it was kind of for nothing. Look, he can't... Man, that'd be really nice to have buff block on him when you break his health bar because he gets that auto cast, right? So, although I think he'd probably do that first anyway, but still, it sucks. You know, I'm really glad that I just randomly got spoofed by Cleopatra in A, but I've grown to like her gameplay and stuff enough that I wish I had her on my main. Especially because, you know, doing Caesar memes with Cleopatra would be kind of awesome. That's right, that's his auto cast and his charge. So that wouldn't, the buff block wouldn't do anything for that. Okay, we still got buff success chance, so that's good. Oh, God. 80% by the way. Hi Hans, how you doing? Tempted to go for the stars for Buster crits next turn, but let's go with the reliable damage. And there's a chance for critting here, so. Like, that would be a fun account where you've got Cleopatra at like level 100, NP2 or higher, 10, 10, 10, that kind of nonsense. Or even just 90, really. And then you have Caesar like level 100, 10, 10, 10, 2k forward, all that stuff, right? That'd be a pretty fun account right there. Okay, don't quick charge. Just don't quick charge, forehead. You know what? If we play this properly, she might be able to do this. I don't think we're gonna win this time, but I think she might be able to. I can see getting a lot. We could have gotten a lot better value out of her skills. And again, she's only level 90 NG2, so she ain't half bad. If there was any doubt, Cleopatra's pretty good, by the way. Because obviously we're not getting much out of her buff block, but dear God, are there challenge quests where you get a fuckload out of that buff block. And she applies it to all enemies. That's the thing. So you can be doing a challenge quest to 3 enemies and buff block all of them. Like, that's freaking awesome. And doesn't she have debuff clear? Am I mistaken? Doesn't she have debuff clear on her 3rd skill? And again, not really applicable here, but you know, clearly in a lot of places it is. She does? Yeah, it's like she's good at something. Yeah, I think she can actually beat this. I'm not sure we're gonna beat it on this one, but because we didn't even land the attack buff. Like, what's her attack? Isn't it like 40% or some shit, right? Like, good God, if we had landed that, that'd have been a big deal. 80%, by the way. Yeah, it's 40%. That is, that's a pretty big deal. Between that and like using her better the first time and that kind of thing, I think she could do this. And certainly she could do this if she was Grailed more and all that nonsense. Might die here though. Pretty likely to die here though. Good performance though. Very good performance though. Definitely did better than Gray and all them and stuff. And again, 90 NV2, so pretty legit. And again, this is just the numerical value, right? We're not getting the debuff clear. We're not getting the buff block and any of that nonsense. Yeah, it's pretty damn impressive. Would you care to do like a quick attack low roll? Yeah, pretty sure that was a quick attack. It's either quick or art, but wait. Not bad though, not bad. I will say it's very noticeable that Donzo and Cleopatra were ahead of the pack there. Like, it was pretty noticeable. I think Cleo's more ahead of the pack though because she gets so much more in like other fights because of the debuff clear and the buff block and those things. And again, only being NP2. So out of everything we tested, I think Cleopatra's the best one. but she's also a 5-star, so that's kind of what you would expect. That's most of the applicable units I can think of, unless we want to. Okay, we'll test Semiramis real quick. This might be sad. We'll see. Okay, this isn't really fair though because she doesn't even have command codes for God's sakes. Like, never mind, like stand-in ones. What I love about Ku though, it is so funny, and because I always see people trying to like show up to like, oh look, I did better with other 5-star NT5 level 100 2K foe unit, and I'm like, when you have to use the most absolute upgraded 5-stars to like outdo Ku, and Ku's a 3-star, it kind of shows how stupid Ku is. And then a lot of times Ku ends up beats the 5-stars. Like there's a lot of times they'll have like a boss fight that's really tough, right? It's really nasty, and like for soloing or last man standing, you're only gonna get anywhere with like the really big boys, right? It's like the top tier stuff. But then Ku's in there, right? It's like you have no other 3-star even in the running, right, for this kind of shit. But then, you know, Ku keeps up just fine, like in Kidu and Scath and whatever the fuck. And actually, Ku pretty consistently outperforms Scath, I would say. That media is boy, they're a lot. They made it a little bit better because they put out that one tier list and it was so bad that it was just like no one could take that shit seriously. And they did adjust it and it's like less dumb, but it's still pretty bad. It's just obvious to me, and this is what they are. Like it's obvious because it's the truth. They're literally a group of people that doesn't sit down and play FGO really hardcore and test everything, and they play a bunch of games. They just kind of cover a bunch. It's just like, you know, IGN covers all these different games and stuff, right? They cover a lot of mobile games, so they have like the mainstream take without actually testing anything, right? That's literally what they are. You know, they're like this, you know, shower thoughts take on like the meta. Like that's pretty much. They don't get in there and really see that. You know, what kind of value can you get out of Myth, right? What kind of value do you get out of Arcanist stuff? They don't do that, and it's super obvious that that's what they do. Do we just vanilla NP? Let me think. Maybe we use our 3rd skill. Cooldown on it. I'm trying to remember. Is she allowed to do her 3rd skill if she doesn't have the stars? They're so inconsistent. They're all over the place with that kind of shit. Could she not do it then? Because they're so weird with the way they do the star drain stuff. Okay, well if we can't do it, then there's no point. Well, we do this. No, we don't need the anti-class thing, so. I know her 3rd skill needs stars. I wasn't sure if it was one where like, because they've got like Moriarty where you need them but it doesn't drain them, and then you had old Moriarty with drain. Like they're so all over the place with their fucking star bomb nonsense. I'm not sure it'd have been right to use it there anyway though because I wasn't doing a Buster chain, so I'm not really sure. See, I think it lasts 3 turns, though. We have Atlas, so now I think we use it, I think. Even though we're not doing a Buster Chain either. But yeah, it lasts 3 turns, okay. Oh my god, I'm so glad I beat that Centipede. I mean, it still took several tries, but fuck that. A huge part of why, though, I beat it faster that time was because, one, I'd already figured out that it made sense to, like, spread your damage out and not break all the body parts at once. But also because I had actually upgraded my gear, right? So I think I was doing... When I did it originally, I had not upgraded my gear, even the freebie one that they gave you. So the amount of damage I had to... The length at which I had to survive, right, to get the damage in was so much longer. And that fight gets harder and harder the longer it goes, so... Once you break the body parts, obviously. Man, we can almost loop, actually. That sucks. Well, no. She's 30%. I thought she was 40%. She's 30%. Okay, I'm overestimating her a little bit. Maybe I should have done my 1st skill just so the cooldown was shorter. Was Landling about to get rated up? God, he's such a monster. Because he also can be a support to a degree, right? Like, yeah, he's not like the best one ever, but he's pretty solid as one. And then if you need survivability and then like the art up and stuff, then it's really okay. That's just this is painful. That means I definitely should have done that last turn, but you know, what do you want from me? Also, I'm gonna waste the defense up here because we're in vulnerability. You get solo rate up at reset, nice. Let me know how that goes. Then you run an art team against a Lancer boss, and it's just the saddest thing ever for the boss. Seriously, art team with Landling against a Lancer, that's just so busted. Landling plus twins, yeah, that's super busted. Man, if I could NP again right now, that would be so amazing. Because then I could have double defense up again, and that'd be enough defense up to not get decked in the Schnoz here. Oh yeah, he'll be good with Saberlot too, absolutely. Saberlot's just such a fucking good art team anyway. Yeah, that'd be pretty good, Fury. I have so much fun with Saber Lancelot. He's such a fun unit to use. Alright, for our defense up that matter, we need to not die this turn, right? That's the requirement here. I'm very skeptical about Atlas though. I'm not sure we're getting enough out of it. And we don't even care about the quick down. She's looking about, well, I mean, to be fair to her, again, she's level 90, NP2, but she's a 5-star, so it's more reasonable, but no command codes. And she's performing about where, you know, Okita, Gray, and all of them did, and with just command codes, she could have done quite a bit better. With command codes, we could have broken by now, like with some crit stuff, or just the Gil one, like the Gil one probably would have added up by now, that kind of thing. Well, we did though. But yeah, it was seriously vanilla, no command codes, level 9 NP2. This is totally solid. No Cleopatra, clearly. Even if she did have the command codes and everything, she would be on par with Cleopatra, but still not half bad. She's a little bit behind a lot of the 4-stars we tested, but a lot of that I think is the command codes and so on and so forth. I don't even remember what her CE was. I think it was decent. I don't think it was anything too amazing though. It was alright. Alright, I think that's enough. You know what I want to try out? Does anyone have a decent Ibaraki? Because Kentoki killed, what was it? Kiyohime. Right, and he's a berserker and all that, so it'd be kind of fun to use Ibaraki there. He was level, I do on NA, it feels bad. Kentoki was NP1. He was level 90 NP1, so that was pretty cool. Oh god, I still have to do the banana upgrade. Do you have her? Any chance she's 10 to 10? 888, I think. That might have to be good enough, but we'll see what we got here. 666 NP3. Well, at least she's NP3. That kind of offsets, because, you know, again, Kentoki was only NP1. Why am I in this menu? What am I looking for? I have no idea. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tempted to roll for Kentoki on my ult account. I wouldn't do it on my main. You gotta save for that, you know, Lost Belt 6. But I don't like his haircut. His haircut is fucking terrible. But I like his, he's a cool character, and then his attacks are just awesome, man. And I enjoy his gameplay too. Doesn't Arcade have a costume for Kentoki so he gets to have Rider Kentoki hair? Isn't that a thing? Like, god damn it, dude. Yes, they do. Fucking Christ, man. That wouldn't even be, like, okay, a lot of stuff is harder to do with 2D sprites than 3D models, but that's not one of them. That would be easy to do. But they just don't. They just don't, man. And I really just do not like DW's design philosophy, right? Like, they probably could have added UHZ as a costume. They probably had that ready to go for ages, but they're like, nope, we're not going to add it until it's, like, relevant in an event. Right? Like, they would never give Kentoki a costume like that unless they had, like, a reason to. I hate that. You know, where, you know, Arcade likes to just kind of throw out trickle things here and there. Just like, hey, look, guys, we gave Kiyohime a different costume or whatever, right? Where Arcade doesn't, I mean, regular FGO doesn't ever do that stuff. It sucks, man. Herc is so not overrated. It is just, he will bail you out of, like, every challenge quest that's ever existed. Like, people just are so stuck on this, like, oh, he's not good after 1.0. That is such a lie. Like, he will make, like, fucking Lee. If you have Bond CE Herc for Lee in Lost Belt 3, this shit's gonna be easy. Right? Like, what is wrong with people? Like, every hard boss fight ever becomes so much easier with Hercules. And then, they buffed him. I ain't talking about buffed Herc. I'm talking about old Herc. Then they buffed him, for God's sakes. Now he's just, I mean, what is, like, he is so insane right now. It's just, his value right now is so high. He makes everything so much, oh my, it's like, what the fuck would anyone, and he's so, like, anybody can get him if you want, right? Anybody can just reroll the tutorial summon. That's easy. Like, it's ridiculous. And you can pick him for your free 4-star ticket. It's crazy. He is probably the strongest and most accessible unit. There's a lot of really broken units out there, but they're a lot less accessible than him. He's so accessible and broken, right? It's crazy. Oh my god. Yeah, oh yeah. Archer Artoria, man. That thing is still just everywhere, man. Loop, 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 my boy. Alright, let's see if we got any Ibirakis worth a damn here. Okay, I think Persona's like doing the upgrade quest right now, so we'll give him a second. What do we want to use real quick? Let's let someone else do this real fast. This is not fair. This is not even remotely fair, because this is level 100, NP5, single target. Like, if it was AoE, I'd say it's almost fair, but this ain't even a yeet it. Okay, fuck. I mean, well, I'm pretty sure not only are we gonna win, but we're gonna win hard. So I guess we'll see. And like Zeus, you know, Zeus is such a obnoxious boss for so many people, and Herc makes it so much easier too. Yeah, both Kualter and Herc are gonna destroy this stage. They're both gonna win so hard. Oh no, we have Art down. I love that voice line of her on her NP. It's funny. And again, she's a summer servant, so you're not really expecting, you know, the super serious stuff. So, I know that's not what it's supposed to be, but that emote area, I cannot be the only one. That 1,000,000% makes me think of the Christmas version of, like, the Golems. Like, so much so. Like, obviously, it's Rue, you know, thing, but it's 100% what it makes me think of. We have Art down. Yeah, I think we just do this. Well, some of the nobles are serious, kind of. I will say though, I really noticed this, and it really changed my viewing of her. You know, Big Mama Nobu is a giant Shunei. Like 100%, right? Like 100 fucking %, she is a giant Shunei. That's so good, Ari, oh my god. Take your knowledge back? You can't. Like, seriously, look at her My Room lines and the way she laughs. Like, she is a super fucking tuna, and she's still a dork. Like, they really hide it, but there's still instances of her being a total dork. And like the way she talks, and like, you know, her take damage line and some of her like main story stuff, like, or event story stuff, I should say, really. But I think we just see red press red here. Like, who even needs DNP? Peak Kremlin. 98%. Also 1,000 health? Oh my god. Give stars. 98% and didn't break. I mean, I think we're still gonna win, but we could have won with a lot, you know, better value if we had broken and gotten her NP there. Because she does have a lot of health. Give me the attack up, give me the attack up, give me the attack. Oh, no, sure did. Lol. I think we just make the stars. I was kind of hoping for bullshit luck there, but... Yeah, honestly, the boss is probably dead right now, and even if it's not, we have another turn and we can Buster Chain again, so we win. And we could have another turn of value if we didn't have that break bar bullshit. Oh yeah, wow, we didn't even need Samsung Dex, by the way. We didn't need the extra attack, and the extra attack was going to do crazy damage because it had first card bonus, 3-of-a-kind bonus, and all that nonsense. I think I can change the background on Samsung Dex. I'm not sure though, but I should. It's kind of weird. Basically what it is, Samsung Dex is using your phone, like you're straight up using your phone, but it uses your PC as like where it puts the image, if that makes any sense, and then it has like its own UI. It has like its own custom UI. It looks like it's kind of like a PC, right? But it's still using the specs of your phone and everything else. So, but so far I like it. I've been impressed with Dex. I like it a lot actually. A few things about it are kind of wonky, but overall it's been good. My Donzo's in all slot. Okay, we already tested her a fair amount because we used, but yours might be better. Actually, I think yours is better. But she honestly, we've been sizing her up in like to the other AoE assassins and stuff, and she actually has been doing quite well. She's not like, you know, still not the best 4-star I've ever seen, clearly. Like if we started comparing her to like the best of the 4-star AoE of the other classes, you're probably gonna at neutral. You're probably gonna, you know, see her falling behind a bit more, but still, she's doing pretty good. Wanting to give Ibaraki a go here. Beastly, I'm super tempted to roll for Kentoki on my ult account. Not tempted to roll on the main, like that ain't gonna happen, but I've been thinking about doing it on my my ult. Again, his haircut is so bad, but you know, he's a cool guy and his gameplay is really awesome, so, and now he's better too. Like, I really like his animation update, man. Like, it's okay, Persona hasn't quite finished yet. Okay, well, let's use Donzo again real quick. Hey, let's use it here. This is not going to be as good as the previous stage for her or anybody. Like, Gray would do worse. All the other AoE assassins we tested out would do worse here. But Okay, so this one is actually worse than the one we used before, but the command codes are a little bit better. Although then Jin actually made his command codes better, but we never used them. But we'll use this one just to see what happens. But this would be every fucking unit that we tested earlier against Siegfried would do worse in this stage, just because they're not going to capitalize like on the attack buff too well, and Kiyohime is more likely to one-shot you with like a Buster crit. Siegfried can do that too, but it's more likely in this one for sure. Don't mock his bowl cut. His mom does it for him. You can't say no to his mom. Yeah, that really is what it looks like. Like, it looks like his mom cut his hair, man. Really bad. Yeah, this one's more on par with you, that's true. Actually, this is almost exactly like the U that we used. Not a good opening hand. Yeah, this stage is definitely harder at neutral, and we have a bad opening hand, so I'm not expecting great things here. The only benefit, and this benefits Ku and other units that just have a stupid amount of survivability, she gives you more NP gain. You know, Siegfried don't give you NP gain worth a damn from attacking you. Or she gives you a crap load. I'm not using Atlas yet because we're probably going to get skill seals at a bad time, I feel like. Really? Really? Shit. Well, that's gonna hurt us quite a bit. That's gonna hurt our maximum value by a noticeable amount. I really need to ask, I know it's a pain to do, but I need to ask Maniac if he's willing to change that emote to be 98 instead of 99. Because 99 basically never happens because of the roundup, where 98 happens all the goddamn time, so... Okay, we have to, oh my god. Look at how much NP battery we just whiffed because of that. Like, that is disgustingly bad. If we want to get max though performance, we'll have to use Jin's though. I think Jin's got the best one, but this is kind of nice to test because it's more even with some of the other units. It's not even though with Okita and Gray, they were level 100 MP5, all the nonsense. Don't you just love this support system, by the way? We have had 99 a couple of times, but not that much. Way less than 98. We get 98 so freaking often, dude. I wish you could see the decibel percentages. One thing I like about Dex is if I actually bring up like UI stuff on my phone, it doesn't matter. Like if I bring up like the low bar there, it doesn't matter. So. Dude, can Donzo catch a break? I'm gonna try to like quick chain and maybe get like crits next turn to make up for not getting cards this time. Yeah, if you're at 98.9999, you need so little to round up. Just crit forehead. She double crits, it's actually okay. Easy! Easy! Guys, see? You just get bullshit luck on one hand to make up for the horrible luck on the other one, see? I did the upgrade, feels good. Yeah, we'll try that in a second. You know what I think would be cool? And I think this actually would have been a cool way to play to her strengths. is give her an NP, I'm sorry, a Star Gem up skill that activates before her NP, and then do the Buster up after. Because then she would have double Star Gem up. And then, you know, she'd make more stars on her Buster, especially if she hits 3 targets. If she only hits 1 target, you know, you're not gonna make that many stars, but if you're hitting 3 targets, you could make quite a few. I like how that time we got our NP, but then Kyohime didn't do her crazy high hit counts, so it wasn't as good as it could have been. I am so unsure though what to do now that she has the Buster up, if you go double Buster or not. I don't know. Imagine how much better her body would do when we do this stuff at neutral. Like, she's AoE as well, but she's basically single target. Man, that'd be so insane on Shiki. I don't think they would do that though. I think it's... They may well buff her again, but I would think they wouldn't do that, but who knows. We're gonna whip a lot of NP again. We're not really getting good luck with the gain rates in this one. It's not as bad as the previous run, but it's not actually that different. Because look at, I mean, now she's doing it, right? And then we're just whiffing a massive amount there. And oh my god, yeah, this is terrible, dude. Because I can't NP here. A lot of value gotten out the window on this one. Did you say Fuma? What? I'm not sure if she actually said that or not. I'm not sure what. I mean, I know she's basically Fuma's mom, but like, I don't know why she would say that. Oh, the clan. I guess that makes sense. That's a thing. Okay. Well, we're not completely embarrassing ourselves for being an AoE unit, but this is, we could be doing a lot better right now if we'd broken a turn sooner and the NP rate was a bit better. Hopefully we can get our NP one more time here. Fury, not Fury, Beastly, is it bad that I have a sneaking suspicion why you have that burn command code on? I feel like you've been doing something, dirty. Like that command code normally means a very specific, thing. Wow, you know what? I think she can beat this. Again, like, we're not good on this one, but if we didn't have that turn where we almost broke but didn't, and overcharge, and all that nonsense, I think she might actually be able to beat this. I'm actually pretty fucking impressed with the amount of, like, survivability damage ratio she's got going on now. Again, this is level 90. This is level 90 MP4. I mean, hell, I think we would have won if we were using, gens on this one. Like, what the fuck? That's pretty good. Yeah, I think if we were using gens right now, I think we actually would have won. Like, we could have died that turn. We got kind of lucky there. But we would die on this turn no matter what, because we would either have died to normal cards or she's going to NP next turn, right? So you're never getting farther than this, but shit, man. Like, I don't think she would have a good win rate here. Even at level 100 and stuff, I think your win rate's going to be kind of shaky. But it actually is definitely possible for her to beat this if we were using one, like, you know, on par with Gray and everything that we were using before, so... That ain't bad. dying dramatically there. Wait, how did I throw? What? What, did I not use my Mystic Code or something? I think I did. Well, I don't think I threw. No, Kyo? I mean, why would we be rooting for Kiyohime? I thought he was talking about Danzo, so I didn't really get it. Look, I don't expect Rex to ever root for Kiyohime in any context. Alright, Ibaraki time. That NP5 Kentoki, but 8-10-6. Alright, here's our two Ibarakis. What do we got here? We got 6-6-6 versus 8-8-8. But then NP5 versus NP3. They're both using a Gut CE. The one on Personas is slightly better. This is tough. Persona has command codes, but they're terrible. Like they don't really do anything. This is hard to call. This is hard to call. I'm gonna go with, I think, Personas, because the skills are nice, and then the little bit of nice on the command codes are not very good though. But and the CE being better, I think overall that's better. Besides, this is more fair against Kentoki anyway, because Kentoki was 90, 10, 10, 10, but NP1. The NP3, I think, more than makes up for that, so they're about on even ground here. Definitely Anniversary Blonde, like, it's just, you know, she's got the crit thing now, so no question. Berserkers so often want Anniversary Blonde, right? Because they're not going to get health out of, like, healing and stuff anyway, so... They don't live long enough to go around the wheel with Atlas a lot of the time. Some of them do, but most of them don't. Like, seriously, fucking Anniversary Blonde is just so meta for Berserkers and whatnot. Ibaraki's buff was her disengage is now targetable, so she can, you know, remove the debuffs on someone else and heal them, and it also gives them a one-turn crit buff. And if Shoten's on the field, she can give Shoten an attack buff and then give a battery to herself, which that's really big, but that's so niche. I want to point out, lore-wise, it makes absolutely no sense for Ibaraki's disengage skill to be targetable. I know it's called something else now, but it doesn't make any sense. But surely, whatever, it's like maybe like if you're really compatible with her master, she'd get like, you know, a better skill instead of disengage. But surely it would be based on disengage, right? Like, it makes no sense for that to be targetable. Now, to be clear, there's plenty of other skills that make absolutely no sense, like lore-wise and what they're representing and stuff. So it's not even, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but it is kind of weird. So the problem is, I kind of feel like my defense up is barely gonna, well, it'll probably, like, all it needs to do is let us live until she in peace. That's what we need out of it. So between that and the heal, that's the problem though. We're gonna like heal when we don't want the crit buff. I wonder if I just use my first skill then and try to get through this health bar fast. Lol, Persona slapped other, that's insane. He slapped other command codes on her, and they actually counted, even though we didn't reload, because that's just how, you know, the UI is. This one like gets rid of a buff type and then like more crit damage. I think it ignores defense, that's what it is. It ignores defense and gives more crit damage. Nice quick up. None of our command codes did anything there. So, Persona, you totally should have put the flat damage on the Buster card. That would have definitely been better. But I guess you just slapped whatever on, which, you know, fair, it's better than nothing, so... this really sucks. This is not a good turn to get our crit buff. But I feel like that's going to happen a lot. Like, a lot of times you're going to use that skill, and it's just not going to sync up. Like, there's no reason for us to go for crits now. We want that for the next hand. So we're literally, she's no different in this run, right? No different. She's exactly the way she was before. We're not benefiting from her crit buff in any way. and we're not taking advantage of the targetable, you know, aspect of the skill. And honestly, I kind of, oh my god. Way to go, Ibaraki. Way to go. But I do feel like her buff wasn't that good the more I think about it. I think it's okay, but like, here's the thing. It's already a tall order to justify bringing Ibaraki on the team. She just doesn't do enough damage. She has soft survival instead of hard survival, and that's not good on a Berserker. Like, there's so many things working against her anyway. Having a targeted disengage, it's like, if you're wanting to deal debuffs like that, there's other... Like, yeah, it's better than nothing. Clearly, it's better than nothing, but there's other options that are generally better. Like, unless you're working with shooting, I don't really feel like this buff is really that good. Like, it's nice, and because obviously you're not always going to be able to take advantage of the crit buff, but sometimes you will. And it's a big fucking crit buff, right? If you're able to take advantage of it, you can really get some, you know, big stuff out of it. We'll give her another shot, and we'll try to get the crit buff harder. But we'll just gotta break that first health bar without using the second skill. Oh my god, never mind. It won't... This fight is terrible for her, because we couldn't cast it here because we're skill sealed anyway. It's just not a fun time for her. Yeah, even if we had broken there, and we had saved it, no matter what we did, we were never getting value out of our crit skill. This wasn't going to happen. Although if we had broken sooner, we could have done this turn before we got skill sealed. So actually, it is possible. It is possible. Not exactly likely, though. Yeah, the crit buff's 100%. I mean, seriously, her burst damage, if you can get it to work, is way higher. And for real, if you're working with like Merlin or something, and you're able to just line up the crit turn, you're gonna fucking notice, right? She can beat this. She's not gonna beat it this time, but she can beat this. If we had broken a turn sooner, we would have won. I mean, that's pretty legit. Like for real, there are definitely times where, you know, her buff is not gonna be applicable because you're gonna need to use the debuff clear on a turn you're not gonna crit, and all kinds of shit like that. But there are times where you're just going to have like 20, 30 on Merlin, and you're going to have Anniversary Blonde, and you're going to, you know, make a few stars in the previous turn, and then Star Bomb, and you're going to, you know, do a huge amount of crit damage with her, or someone else, if she gives someone else the crit buff, and you're going to break the health bar, and then maybe you NP and break the next health bar. Like, I mean, you know, she's much better with this buff, I do think, but it's definitely not as good as you might think. I do think it's restrictive, right? It's not an easy buff to use. You're going to have times where you're just not going to get value out of the crit stuff when you want to, and things like that. I guess it's a bit wonky, but it's certainly an upgrade, like, no question. And I still think she's well behind a lot of the other Berserkers. Like, Beowulf just it's so much easier for Beowulf to just do huge damage. And Beowulf's gut skill is way better. Hey, Ludes. Beowulf's gut skill is way better than Ibiraki's defense up. It's not even close. It's so much better. So, like, I still think a lot of the other 4-star, the one time I think she could be good is if you get a lot of value out of the buff removal, right? Maybe you're fighting a boss, it's an assassin or something, and it's, you know, 3 health bars, and it does have annoying ass buffs that you want to remove. So maybe you set it up, you do Star Bomb or something, Merlin, what have you. You get that big crit turn out of her with her new second skill. You don't need the buff removal. You don't care about the debuff removal. You're just using it for the huge crit buff. You break that first health bar, you know, then you use NP on the second health bar, right? That's pretty good, right? Now, a lot of times you can do that with Beowulf and everyone else as well, right? Because they got crit stuff, and it's actually easier to crit with Beowulf because he's got Star Absorb and he makes his own stars. It's so much easier to crit with Beowulf, right? And then he could, you know, crit into an NP as well, and his NP hits harder. But if you need to remove, if the reason like you're having trouble is because you need to remove a buff from the enemy, Beowulf can't do that, where Ibaraki can. So she's definitely better than she was before. I think she's definitely more comparable to her competition than she was before, but I still think she's worse most of the time. She's only better if you really need like the debuff clear, or you really need the buff removal, right? But that's fine. It's okay. She's good enough on her own now, and then she does have a niche from time to time where she's going to be, you know, actually good. So I think it's okay. But yeah, I think Beowulf is going to be more good more often, like by a lot, and obviously a perk and that kind of shit. Alright, what was the other one? Oh no, we've done, well, I guess we haven't done any Kentoki on stream, but I made the video, so, but, yeah, that's all the shenanigans. But, yeah, so, Shimosa 2 coming up, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I guess we'll wrap up here, because, oh my god, I stayed up a bit too late last night, making that Kentoki video, But then it's funny, I actually went to bed without uploading it. But then I was having massive, I had so much trouble going to sleep last night. Good old sleep apnea and all that kind of crap. So then I actually woke up and then uploaded it and then went back to bed again. But yeah, I don't feel so great. But it's okay. As long as I get sleep tonight, I'll be alright. If I get bad sleep again though, it'll be a problem. But yeah, I think we'll wrap up there. I might do a bonus stream because I really want to kill the wolf boss in Genshin Impact. But yeah, probably I was gonna stream Arknights today, but then they did the FGO shit, and I figured we needed to talk about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to upload the VOD of this one because all the talk about 5.5 was at the start of the stream. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, everybody. That was fun. I'm impressed with Donzo, honestly, in terms of, like, she's still not an amazing damage dealer. She's not, but she's okay, right? So between the good utility she already had and a little bit better damage, her actual value, I think, for the team is pretty solid now. Certainly not like, I'm not like, oh my god, she's the assassin version of like Lancer Melt or Fionn, or she's not that, but she's good. She's pretty good now. If you're like, oh my god, she's my waifu or whatever, right, and you want to use her, she's a lot easier to use now, right? A lot easier to use now. I think all of the buffs are good, honestly. Even Ibaraki's, it's a little underwhelming there, but like I said, there's a lot of times you're going to be able to take advantage of that crit buff. Right, you're going to have times where you don't need the debuff clear, you're going to have Merlin or whatever, you're going to have Anniversary Blonde, you're going to crit, then you're going to NP later, right? Like, that's some good shit. Yeah, we're going to have an Arknight stream at some point soon. I haven't played it in ages, and it's so fun to play that game, because I'm kind of behind the curve and stuff, and that makes the story even more fun and stuff, so I'm really looking forward to it. I wish Kritsugu Danzo was better. That's why I was saying I kind of wish they had given her an attack up instead of Buster up on the NP. Especially because it does proc after the NP. Giving it that extra, just universal value, I think would have worked a lot better. It's kind of annoying to have to use her on like a Buster team to get worth out of that. Thankfully, she fits on a Buster team just fine, because her NP is Buster. But yeah, it would be nice to have a bit more flexibility than that. Or hell, you could go ham and give her Buster up and attack up to the team. That'd be interesting. That might be pushing it, though. That might be too much team support at that point. Anyway, lads, thanks for hanging out. I guess I will rate somebody, because I may play Genshin Impact, but if I do, it won't be a very long stream anyway. So we'll give somebody a raid here. Let's see. Not a lot of people playing FGO right now. This is actually kind of depressing. Let's go with... Oh, hey, Sharky. We'll raid Sharky. He's playing Beat Saber. That's something different. There's not really anybody that I recognize streaming FGO right now anyway, so we'll raid our boy Sharky. Oh, right. I could have raided Codroth. Dude, I don't get it. I have followed him a million times, but it never shows up. I don't understand. I have followed that man a million fucking times, and it never shows up. But yeah, we'll just raid Sharky for now. But yeah, Codroth's an awesome guy. He's totally worth raiding, but yeah, it's kind of too late now. But I guess I need to go follow him again, because he's not showing up for me. I don't understand. Anyway, boys, you have a good one. I'm out of here.